the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do, to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just know passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry, and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love, those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug, those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make up lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Do this for my mother, she'll be working for the summer. Do this for my father, cause these days I often wonder what my life would have been like if I was not adopted, to grow up in a home where I was treated like a problem. I don't know, it's just a guess. Your guess probably good as mine. Lucky that I grew up in a home that wanted me to shine. Lucky that I grew up around some mountains we were taught to climb. Without that inspiration, I don't think that this would be my life. Do this for my friends who've scattered all across the country now. I'm out in Sweden walking back through life so I can write it down. Make a living off the sound, so crazy to say out loud. I'm the biggest thing since Travis Rice to come up out the town. Sorry, gotta stunt a little. Used to have my dreams belittled, but it's all a part of it. I know people's minds are fickle, lines between reality and dreams I blur like faded nights. Come up been so good for me, I wish that I could make it twice.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
All right, y'all. Hey, good evening. Thank you guys for being here. Just want to let you guys know I do this for my father, right? Shout out to my pops. His name is Tony. They call him Tone the Big Bone. Just letting you guys know. Hey, thanks for being here. If you're watching me from TikTok, you guys should know the deal by now. You got to move over to YouTube. I'll answer questions on YouTube. Just start throwing them in the chat. Shout out to everybody who's here tonight. It is Monday night. I don't know if we're competing with the NBA Finals. I don't have a clue what's going on with the NBA Finals. I don't care. To be real with you guys, I don't even care. But I'm going to tell you what. Isn't it a good day to be me, bruh? I'm telling you right now, I woke up this morning to a ton of hate. I got haters in the inbox all day long. And I don't know what you guys do for a living, but I do this for a living. So your life must suck, bruh. Because you get to hate on me, and the haters are so strong. Steve said it to me, man. These haters are just so persistent. It's like they get paid to hate. No, Steve didn't say that. Somebody else said that. Who was it? One of my followers told me, these guys reply to you like they're getting paid to hate. And you want to know the funny thing? I'm getting paid to reply, bruh. I'm getting paid to reply. Just keeping it real. So thanks for being here tonight. Listen, the show is simple. I talk about what's trending in sports. I got a couple things up here to talk about, not much. And then you guys drive the show from there with all your questions, comments, and concerns. And I try to get to them. It's just, it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, you guys drive the show. We keep it going. This will end in 30 minutes or this will end in 2 hours. It's on you, right? It's on you. I just want to make a couple announcements. The transfer portal, it has come to a screeching halt, which is great. There are still players in the transfer portal, but there aren't scholarships available. So because it's come to a screeching halt, this gives me time to finalize my transfer portal rankings for the spring. Now, I'm going to combine the winter and spring rankings and give them an overall ranking for the off season. And I just want to reiterate again, when I do these rankings, it's going to be based on the totality of the off season. So if you think you got 7 great players in the portal in the winter, and you're one of the best teams in the country from the portal, shout out to Michigan. Michigan fans are the worst. You did not have the best transfer portal season. I do it by assessing the amount of impact these transfers are going to have on your team. Once again, the amount of impact these transfers are going to have on your team. So, if you look at a team and they found a starting quarterback in the transfer portal, I weigh that heavily because the starting quarterback has a huge impact on your team. So, if there's a team out there in this country and they got a new quarterback from the transfer portal, chances are, I think very highly of their transfer portal class. I am ranking these transfer portal classes like recruiting classes with one exception. I'm taking into account what they lost, not just what they gained. I'm looking at a net gain, okay? A net gain. What did they gain plus what did they lose? So if you lost a quarterback in the transfer portal and you gained one, chances are it's a lateral move there. You're even at best. Now, the guy you gained might be better than who you lost sometimes. But I just want to make everybody clear of that, okay? It is what it is at this point. So before I get into what's trending, I'm going to get into what's trending, and then I'll get to your guys' questions. So I'm going to do one story at a time. If you got any comments or questions or follow-up after each story, I'm going to run to the chat, see if it's there, and then we'll keep it moving. So you guys got to be quick with your fingers and let me know what's up. If you're watching me from TikTok, once again, move over to YouTube. Jump in the live stream, like it. Hey, before you get in the live stream, hit that like button, and then you can jump in there. And then you can jump in the chat. If you're in the chat right now, shout out to you, 20 so of you who are there. Guys, we hit 100 every night. If you get to those, if you're one of those 100, step out, hit the like button, come back. Okay, that's all we ask. Let's do it. Here we go. First news story of the day. First thing that's trending in my world of sports, I'm going to let you guys know right now. Rod Woodson is unemployed. Let me fix this. Rod Woodson is unemployed, y'all. Poor Rod Woodson here. He was the head coach of the Vegas Vipers. If you didn't watch the XFL, well, you missed out on some solid football. You didn't do it with my live stream, but let me tell you about Rod Woodson. Obviously, Hall of Fame football player, one of the great DBs of all time. Not dirtbags, defensive backs. One of the great defensive backs of all time. And Rod Woodson wanted to get into coaching. He wanted to jump into coaching, so he went out and started coaching the Vegas Vipers. Only problem is he plays in a damn what? What is this? His stadium where he plays, where he coaches, is what? It's a rodeo stadium? I don't know what it is, but it sat like 10,000 people max. I saw high school stadiums better than their game day stadiums. All the teams in the XFL, they all practice in the Arlington area at 4 different fields, and 2 teams share a field. During practice. They practice during the week in one place. And then they fly out for their games. It's just cheaper. The land deal, they have an agreement with certain schools and school districts in Arlington, in the Texas area, right, in the Dallas area. So they're doing this from Dallas. Boom, they go and disperse, play their games, and then come back. Can you imagine your practice field is better than your game field? That's what happened with the Vegas Vipers. The practice field was better than the game field. But unfortunately for Vegas, the entire team of Vegas, they averaged 6,000 people at each game. An average attendance of 6,000 people is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. You know who got fired? The marketing team in Vegas. They fired everybody in Vegas. If you were part of the marketing team, the advertising team, the team that was supposed to get people in the stands, you are fired. You are unemployed today. Go to Jersey Mike's and have it Mike's way, bruh, because that's all you can afford right now. You cannot do anything. You can't be splurging. Stay out of Cheesecake Factory. You don't have a job anymore. I'm letting you know right now, these people are hurting, and rightfully so. So who else had to get fired? The team was gross. The team was gross, and Rod Woodson was the head coach. I'm sure he's a great man. But this is that Jordan effect, y'all. Jordan can play basketball. Kobe can play basketball. They can't teach people to play. They're not great coaches. They can naturally do things others can't. They just look at you and go, why can't you do that? I have a hard time looking at Rod Woodson and thinking he coached anyone to be any better. He just looked at them and said, why don't you guys play better? Like, why don't you guys just play better? Rod Woodson would have, I would have intercepted that. This is where I think great players don't make great coaches. They just don't even stress the fundamentals. They do it naturally. It's innate. Are you kidding me? Allen Iverson, he's not putting on a guard clinic and going, hey, look, guys, here's how I had to learn how to dribble. He's not doing it. Tyronn Lue might. Tyronn Lue had to learn the fundamentals of dribbling to make it in the league. Allen Iverson didn't. This man just went out there and balled you up. I think that's what happened with Rod Woodson here. Rod Woodson just couldn't hold the job, couldn't do a good job, and it's crazy, guys. The players in the XFL get paid $50,000 to $70,000, $5,000 a game for the losers, $6,000 for the winners. Okay, so there's 10 games. If you win all your games, you're getting $60,000 plus another $10,000 if you win the championship. Now, if you lose all your games, you're getting $50,000. Not everybody lost all their games. I mean, the Vipers won 2 games. So their guys made $52,000 on the year, 15 weeks, including the preseason and training camp and all that, 15 weeks. Not bad money for 15 weeks, let me tell you. Now, Rod Woodson, though, he didn't take a pay cut. This man made $500,000. The players are making $50,000. The coaches made $500,000, bro. $500,000? XFL head coaches make $500,000. This is comparable to a positions coach in the NFL with no expectations, with no real requirement, and you're only doing it for 15 weeks. You're only doing it for 15 weeks. It's crazy. I don't know what the assistants are making, but they paid the head coaches, and that's why they have a who's who list. That's why all the coaches, you know their names, former players, former coaches. Household names. $500,000 for your coaches? You want to know how you lose $60 million? Pay the coaches $500,000. So my question to you guys in the chat is this. Who would you hire to replace him? I said, don't tell me John Gruden, right? But you can have fun with this. Somebody said something pretty interesting to me. Hey, Rico, if John Gruden coached, I would watch. If John Gruden coached them, I would watch. And I thought, man, that's pretty crazy. But let me ask you guys this. What if Marshawn Lynch coached them? What if they hired Marshawn Lynch to be a coach because he's hilarious? I can't stand half the things he does, the antics he does, because he's a highly intelligent man, and he went to Cal Berkeley, bro. Highly intelligent man, and he just keeps acting like he's got this street cred to him, and I don't need it. The man's intelligent. Just go out there and do your thing. I think Marshawn Lynch will be a hell of an XFL coach. But who else would be a hell of an XFL coach? I don't know if Jerry Rice could do it. I'm just curious. We need name recognition to get viewers. But wouldn't it be hilarious if we mic'd up one of these funny-ass dudes? Give me Jim Morris Sr. going out there and just keep saying playoffs every week. Playoffs? You want to talk about playoffs? Just give me dudes who are going to go off rants and tip over Gatorade when they don't win. Give me some emotion. Rod Woodson was constantly frustrated. I watched him just challenge, because you can challenge a call or no call in the XFL. He would challenge a call and lose all the time. He just had a really bad feel for the game, where like Anthony Beck and Bob Stoops had no problem. They were great coaches in the league. And Wade Phillips, too. Just old man Wade Phillips. He didn't give a shit. Wade Phillips out there making $500,000. $500,000? Give me Terrell Owens as a coach. $500,000? Let me tell you what they need. They need player recognition. They need to go and sign Cam Newton. They need to sign Cam Newton. They really do. I don't know if they got the price tag for it. They don't have the money for it. But Cam Newton just got to do himself a solid and say, I'll do it for $200,000. Just to be on the field again. But he won't. He won't put himself in that risk. Go sign Phillip Rivers and Drew Brees for $200,000. Hey, I heard you guys are itching to get back in the game. I heard you guys miss the field. You're retired and you want to get back out there. They got to sign Jason Witten as a coach because I don't want to hear him in the booth. I'm just saying. So, yeah, Rod Woodson loses $500,000. He don't even care. Dude, if you lost your job and it paid you $500,000, how would you react? How would you react? All right, before we move on, I'll get to the chat. Let's go. The chat. Rico, shout out to Campbell. Campbell got in here really early, and he said, Rico, do you agree that Slavic people are purposely not celebrated by sports media, namely Nikola Jokic? Is that the Joker? Is that the MVP of the NBA? Is that who that is? He says he had more points, rebounds, and assists in playoff history, only 2 games deep. Okay. Only 2 games into the finals, or Novak Djokovic. I know the D is silent. Whoa. I know the D. Why can't you hear pterodactyls P? Because the P is silent. Who, after even his 23rd Masters win, to less fanfare and still questioned if he is the GOAT. Possibly UFC fighters get proper credit, but Slavic athletes not celebrated. So Campbell, first things first, bruh. We're at a Cold War right now. We're at a Cold War with Slavic countries. And if you guys don't know who the Slavic countries are Poland, they're Finland, they're the Slavics, but that includes Russia, bro. That includes the USSR. And I grew up to Rocky IV and Drago and Rocky and went, no, we're not doing this. Draco and no. I still got beef with the British, bro. I don't even like English people. We fought them in a Revolutionary War. You're talking to a senior leader in the world's strongest army, bro. I'm a master sergeant in the world's strongest army. I've been in over 20 years. I got beef with anybody we went to war with till this day. I don't like anybody we went to war with. I'm serious. I hold grudges. I don't like people in the South. They try to overthrow the government. I'm here, bro. I got beef with everybody. So no, the reality is Slavic countries aren't appealing. Their names are hard to pronounce. But the channel that has the contract for opens and for majors, it's their job to promote these champions. But if you want to watch a pregame show of tennis and the tennis champs of all time, I have a feeling those ratings are going to be trash. That's why they're not talking about it. Jokic is not nearly as – he's not getting as many interactions, retweets and shares and likes as a Ja Morant clip. Do you not see how the internet goes crazy after we talk about the obese guy who plays basketball? What's his name? The obese kid, Zion Williamson? Just because he's out there leaving it all in? And that blows up in an instant? That's way more appealing to the American public because they can relate to that shit. We can't relate to a 7-foot dude who kind of just stands around, looks out of shape, and plays League of Legends with his brothers. Like, we can't relate to that. That guy's not likable. It is what it is. But, yeah, it's not going to happen. By the way, the best tennis player of all time is Roger Federer. I don't care about all these totals and all this stuff. Roger Federer was in a major final or semifinal for 18 years in a row. From like 2000, I'm serious, 18 years in a row, he was in at least one semifinal in one of the majors. Come on, bro. That means you're one of the elite players or one of the elite tennis athletes in the world for 2 decades. I don't want to hear it. Roger Federer is a problem. What is he, a Swede? But that's tennis, bro. I'm going to get off it. Welcome, everybody. Please make sure you hit the subscribe and the like button. Shout out to you guys. Alton McCaskill's still injured. 3:10 into the new well-off media video. Coach calls Alton over to have a conversation about the knee. This conversation was muted. Unorthodox. I believe conversations about injuries are going to be muted. That's HIPAA, right? That's going to be HIPAA at some point. And so you can't disclose people's medical issues. So I'd imagine that's why it's muted. But more importantly, Alton McCaskill tore his ACL April 22nd, I think, of last year. So in reality, ACLs take a year to heal. Sometimes they take 8 months, depending on who you are. Sometimes they take longer because it all depends on when you got your surgery. So you tear it one day, they don't immediately go into surgery. It takes a while for them to get it scheduled, maybe get a second opinion, all this other stuff. So I also don't know if it was just a simple ACL tear. If there's MCL damage, patella tendon, all kinds of stuff. So, I hope he's healthy. When healthy, he's considered one of the best running backs in the country. I hope he's healthy. But it is what it is. Oakman's junior year was something else. Oh, wow, that came out of nowhere. Sean Oakman. You know, I did a story on Sean Oakman today. I did a post on him. Unfortunately, the young man, if you guys don't remember Sean Oakman, I'll pull up a picture of him. It's always nice to get a picture of Sean Oakman in the background here. Sean Oakman. You just do this, and then when he comes up, you just hit images. Just hit images. And it's always this funny one that was a meme here. But he's a problem. You're not messing with Sean Oakman. So Sean Oakman was 6', I think he was 6'7.5", 6'8", 6'9". I think he went and they had the Senior Bowl and they measured him before the draft, and he was 6'7.5", 280-something pounds. No body fat on this man. He was ready to demolish everyone. But he had character concerns, confirmed character concerns. If you guys don't remember, he was actually kicked out of school. He was at Penn State. And he was kicked out of Penn State by Dan O'Brien at the time, I believe. Yeah, Dan O'Brien. And he got, am I saying Dan O'Brien? Who's the coach? Bill O'Brien. Holy smokes. Bill O'Brien kicks him out of school because he grabbed a lady's wrist. I remember that. He grabbed her wrist. So then he goes to Baylor, and Baylor didn't care what you were doing. Obviously this is the Art Briles time frame, and they were just doing things. Or was it Matt Rule's time frame? It was somebody's time frame. They stopped giving a shit about what people were doing. And he got accused of rape 3 days before the draft. 3 days before the NFL draft, he got accused of rape. And it took 3 years before he was finally innocent. But what people don't know is, yes, his last year wasn't that good. His last year, he faced a lot of double teams. He wasn't nearly the statistical monster that he usually was. And his junior year was something else, though. He had 11 sacks his junior year. I remember that very vividly. 11 sacks, complete monster, and just intimidating to no end. But till this day, he's never played a down in the NFL. He's in the CFL right now. He plays in the CFL right now. But it's just a shame. He never had an NFL career based on a false accusation. He was found innocent. And remember, if they drop charges, you're not innocent. If they drop charges, you're not innocent. Just means they didn't want to pursue charges and lose in court. I cannot say you're innocent if they drop charges. But if you go to court and you win and they declare you not guilty, we're not having this conversation anymore. If you go to court, you don't take a plea deal. You know what I'm saying? He could have took a plea deal, took a charge, register as a sex offender for the rest of your life. No, you don't do any of that. That's when it matters most. Like, that's when I believe you. All right, and he won his case, but to what cost? He never ever playing in the NFL ever, and it sucks. And it's a damn shame. And what do? We're gonna get all these sexual assault victims coming in, and all these sexual assault advocates come in here and tell me, Rico, false accusations are 1% of the crime. You better stop this right now. And I just can't deal. Because you can still ruin somebody's life. Shout out to the 1%ers. What's up, Rico? Blessings, bro. Blessings to you, Jared. Good to see you again. Digital Assets, Jared, here every night. We got everybody. Chaos, what up? Has your prediction about Colorado's upcoming record changed now that more players have committed? Do you think Colorado will win at least 9 games this season? No detail. I don't think Colorado's going to win 9 games this year. I think they're going to win 6 games in the regular season, get to a bowl game, and the potential to win 7. I'm not going crazy. I'm not talking out of turn. I've studied every team they're playing against. I've studied their roster. I'm not the guy to go out there and start saying this number like this. When you look at 9 games in a season, 9 wins in a season, you're talking about a team just outside the top 25 at that point. I can't go there. Outside the top 25, that's absurd. 9 wins, that's what Duke did last year, and UCLA. That's what Pitt did. Those teams were loaded with NFL football players. Like 1,400-yard rushers are on 9-win teams. So it is what it is. I keep it in perspective. I'm a supporter of everything that Colorado's doing. I'm a supporter of Coach Prime. I know many of the players. We talk to each other in DMs all the time. I know the coaching staff. It doesn't matter. I cannot go out there and get it on record that I think they're going to win X amount of games beyond what I think is a realistic expectation. Right? It's just like the kid who told me the other day. He said, who's the quarterback at Tennessee this year? who's the quarterback at Tennessee that just came over from Milton. Was it Milton? Yeah, he said Milton is going to win the Heisman. He said Milton's winning the Heisman. And I was like, how? I just watched Hendon Hooker throw for 4,000 yards, 40 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and not even get invited to New York. How much better of a season are you expecting Tennessee to have? They had an amazing season last year, and their quarterback played great and didn't get to New York. And then you declare the next quarterback's going to win the Heisman. How? How are we getting there? Right? So how is Colorado winning 9 games is absurd to me. It's absurd to me. It really is. I'm just looking at the opposition. I'm looking at certain teams. When you say they're winning 9 games, that means they're beating Washington, USC, Utah, Oregon. Like, that's 4 teams right there. If you beat any one of those, you're winning 9 games. But if you can't beat any of them, you're at 8 right there right off the rip. And those are top 10 teams. Those are top 10 teams. Not gonna be top 10. They're literally top 10 teams. A little different. Has Colorado and Coach Prime getting those 2024 commits. Oh, yeah, shout out to them. Keep doing it. Blunts and Paper Podcast, you've been having me dying all day today. How do you feel about Purdue's coach? So Purdue's coach is Jeff Brom. I've talked about him at length. If you really want to know how I feel about Purdue, go to TikTok, do a search, hashtag Purdue, then hit a space, and do another hashtag. And that other hashtag is going to be transfer portal. All one word. Right? So hashtag Purdue, hashtag transfer portal. Hit enter. You'll find all the videos I have on Purdue. You can also do hashtag Rico Knows, hashtag Purdue. Put 2 hashtags in your search. You'll find everything I think about them. Jeff Brom is an amazing coach. He is the reason Western Kentucky is who they are as far as throwing goes and the quarterback and all that other stuff. It's Jeff Brom. He was the origin of it at Western Kentucky, went to Purdue, did everything he could at Purdue to make them a winning program, get them into the conference championship game. They get blown out by Michigan, but he did more with less, right? He does it all the time. Get a transfer in Charlie Jones, make him an NFL player, get a quarterback, get him into the 4th round instead of the 7th. It's just everything Jeff Brom does. I think he's putting Louisville on the map. I'm excited for him. If we're talking about the new Purdue head coach, my bad. We're talking about Ryan Walters, the head coach that just moved over from Illinois, defensive coordinator. It's just a young man who's finally going to get his shot to be a head coach. I think he's got a lot of swag. I watch him on video. I like the guy. I watch him on Twitter a couple times. I like the way he recruits. I like the way he prepares and develops players. But more importantly, his staff at Purdue is a bunch of guys, a bunch of young dudes who are like, yo, bro, if you get the nod, if you get hired as a head coach, I'm coming with you. Like, think about that. You got a bunch of buddies all sitting around, position coaches, right? And they're like, yo, bro, if you get the head coaching job anywhere, I'm going with you. And that's exactly what happened. Purdue hired so many good position coaches. They're young, and they all followed Ryan Walters. Wherever he's been, they were like just loyal to him. So they left other programs to join him. This is why Illinois' cupboard is bare. Brett Bielema has to find other coaches because he lost a ton of he lost his offense coordinator, defense coordinator. He lost like a ton of position coaches because they were loyal to Ryan Walters and said, hey, we just want a shot to go be like now I can go be an offensive coordinator, right? You just got hired as a head coach. You need a defensive coordinator. I want to be that guy. So you take your buddy who's a secondary coach and make him your defensive coordinator. It's just getting the hookup, bro. It's just getting the hookup. I'm just saying. Which state has the best Juco football players? Okay, A+ behaving. The state with the best Juco football players, this is going to sound crazy to a lot of people, but it's Kansas. And you guys need to know why. So the Kansas community college community, like the Kansas division, it's called the Kansas Jayhawk Community College Conference. And the reason it's called Jayhawks is because anybody born in Kansas is considered a Jayhawk. Like, I'm serious. I'm just letting you know. But they have so many schools in Kansas that play junior college football, like a lot. And they have their own national championship. It's broken up into two different divisions. It's East and West. But this is where you see all those good teams that you know of in the junior college ranks. I mean it, guys. It's amazing. Sorry, I'm moving my mouse around here. But we're talking Hutchinson. We're talking Independence. Fort Scott. Everybody you see on TV, all those guys, they're all from Kansas. So I really like Kansas as a junior college state. Another one would be Mississippi, but I like Kansas. So do as you wish. California, I grew up there. I know the deal, but No. Pac-12 has all the great quarterbacks. It has a lot of good ones. It has probably 6 of the top 12 for sure. I don't necessarily know if it has all the great ones. There's great ones everywhere. Big Ten has great quarterbacks. Shout out to the GOAT. Tom Brady's from the Big Ten. The haters have their job too, LOL at Rico. I thought it was super funny. You got to post a video on the haters and make income on a video the haters will hate based on haters. Yeah. So here's the thing, Matt. 100%. But I learned this from Russ, right? Russ, my R&B singer, my favorite musician. Russ says, yo, bro, I bought an apartment complex in Phoenix, and the haters are in apartments right now posting hate messages on all my TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, all this stuff, and they're in an apartment, and they're paying me rent while they're hating on me. Haters are hating on me and tweeting from apartments that I own. You know, and that's just the way it is for me too. You come to my channel, you take the time to write me a message of hate. I get the views for it, bro, and I get paid from it. It is what it is. And I can make the video and flip that into some more money too. If I want to, I can start all the drama. If I want to. I don't have the energy some days, but I got time today. You know I say that, right? Rico, they should have played at Bishop Gorman, bro. How far is Bishop Gorman? Well, they could have just picked Bishop Gorman instead of wherever they were playing. My question is Bishop Gorman near Vegas downtown, or what about Lincoln? Or is it not Lincoln? Is it Lincoln, Nevada? They have a good team as well. I don't know their actual locations. Is BG not in Cali? BG. Bishop Gorman. Oh no, Bishop Gorman's in Nevada. Bishop Gorman's in Nevada, not Cali at all. No, they're in Nevada. A lot of players on the Raiders would always complain about Rod Woodson when he was coaching the DBs. Yeah, Rod Woodson's just not a good coach, man. I already told you. He's just not a good coach. Some guys aren't good coaches. They're good players. They're not good coaches. That's why not all players make good coaches, especially in the NFL. There was at one point, I think 2 years ago, I looked it up, only 4 NFL coaches had ever played in the NFL. At one point, it was like Vrabel, and 2 more, and was it Pete Carroll? Did he play in the NFL? And like 2 more guys. It was just 4. With past NFL experience, only 4 head coaches. It's not a prerequisite. It doesn't make you a good coach. Nope. I think fringe NFL players are better coaches. I think guys who had to work on fundamentals and learn schemes are better head coaches. And some people are just savants about the game of football, right? They just have a great football mind. I was talking to DJ about this, one of my ex-players, and DJ played football through high school, and DJ says, hey, coach, you coach really different from everybody else. Like, you have a different football mind. Just the offensive scheme you implemented or the defensive philosophy you have, the way you teach is just different. What you see on a football field is different from average people. And I know this. But it's just hard trying to find somebody to believe in you when you haven't been doing it for the last 20 years. You've been doing something else, like applying yourself to cybersecurity in the NSA. But there are people in this world who are just naturally gifted. That's why I love the McVays or the Shanahans, right? These young guys who are just out there savants. Who's the McDaniel kid in Miami? Just smart people who applied themselves to football instead of some old player who's like, yeah, this is how we do it. Yeah, this is what we do. Nah, dude, you don't get it because you didn't fundamentally have to learn the game because you were so skilled athletically. You could just naturally do a lot of things other people couldn't, right? Is Ndamukong Suh going to be the greatest defensive tackle coach? No, he's just a monster of a man. What's he going to say? Hey, get that guy off you? Yeah, you could, bro. You could bench press 600, 700 pounds. The rest of us can't do that. We got to fight hands and use different techniques. It's just the way it is. You think Lester is coming to see you or using the Prime Clout to get pub? I really don't care. I don't care. Once again, recruits are just going to leverage whatever they can, however they want. I don't care. Beast Mode doesn't care enough to coach. Exactly. I'm with you. Antonio Brown, XFL coach. Stop it. John Gruden won't even get me to watch it. I will watch if Ocho Cinco coaches. That's a great suggestion. I like Ocho Cinco, and I think he's just good enough to be relevant in that regard. For sure. Got to protect your chickens. I feel you. Somebody took a shit on the sidewalk right outside the door, if you know what I'm talking about. Sorry, chat just jumped on me. Warren Sapp. I don't want Warren Sapp coaching. With how the media loves Prime, maybe if he had an XFL, it would do better. Yeah, but that'd be a pay cut. A-plus behaving. He's making $5 million a year in college. This is why you can't take head coaches. You got to take prior players with name recognition who aren't in the coaching game. That's your demographic. You can't take a coach. You can't take an actual head coach. They're making way more money. Way more. The Plug. What up, Lawrence Collins? Good to see you again, brother. Mike Vick. Okay, Vick would be a good one. But what is he making at the booth? What's he making in the booth? Ed Reed. Ed Reed. Ray Lewis sounds good. Ed Reed. Hey, Mike Singletary. Good choice. Yeah, these are all pretty good. Pretty sure we fought Brits twice. I'm anti-Brit all day. No. It's Nikola Jokic. Pronounced Jokic. Nikola Jokic. Serena. Yeah, there you go. Serena's the greatest of all time. Brian Dawkins. I don't think he's going to get people to watch. Brian Dawkins is a guy, but I don't think he's going to get people to watch at all. I really don't. Not enough like personality. If J.A. didn't get in trouble, he might have been pushed to final, inspected on his gun issues. Right? His shoe is selling out among teenagers. Jokic just don't have the marketability. Yeah, and it is what it is at this point. I'm good on that. Like, yo, Willie Bobo. I'm good on that. Hey, dude, this guy just came in with some crazy chat. I don't know what he's saying. Floyd Mayweather fight last night, shaking my head, was a joke. Yeah, I'll never, ever. You guys don't understand. I've never watched a Floyd Mayweather fight in my entire life. Like, I've never seen one boxing match of Floyd Mayweather, and anything associated with him, I've never looked at it, ever. It's not appealing to me. I find it extremely boring. Like, it does not appeal to me. I already told you I'm anti-boxing to begin with, but that guy, every aspect of him, press conferences, anything, interviews, I've never watched a single thing. I couldn't tell you if he can read or not. I know nothing about the guy. I can't intelligently talk about him. And he can't intelligently talk about me or anything. Truly one of the saddest stories in college football. Yeah, Oakman, there's some other sad stories. There's some other ones. Matt Ariza suffered the same rape allegations, just wild that people could just be falsely accused. Yeah, it happens, brother. It happens. I want you guys to know it happened to me in my military career. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but obviously I'm still in. I still achieved greatness in my career. But in about 4 or 5 years in, I was accused of rape by a subordinate soldier because I didn't send her to the promotion board. She wanted to be promoted. I wouldn't send her to the board. I was a platoon sergeant. She went in and reported me for rape. Now, let me tell you, they kicked her out of the Army. False accusations. She was removed from the Army. She lost her job, essentially. But I would have gone to jail if I couldn't prove my innocence, right? So never did anything to her, never did anything with her. Didn't know her like that. She was just upset that she didn't get to go to the board. And it happens. But it did set me back. I think it set me back like 2 years. Just the perception alone. I had to leave the unit because everybody thought, my name was dirt. My name was mud. And some people would like PCS and go off to other parts of the world and then tell people, hey, this guy did this. This guy did this. And it was like, no, that's completely innocent. So, and I was married at the time. My wife was like, what's going on? And we got through it. So it is what it is. But, yeah, that's a true story. So it's near and dear to my heart. It bugs me. False accusations bug me. I'll say this. I try not to be, biased. It bugs the hell out of me. And that's why I'm making these stories is I need people to understand how important it is, especially these young, athletic males. You're going to be a target. Everybody wants to have a baby by you. And we all laugh when we see them getting drafted and they got a girlfriend on their arm. We're like, oh, what a gold digger, what a gold digger, what a gold digger. But you never know, man. If you're not the girl on his arm, you might be upset. And you have one thing going for you that no one else has, and that's sympathy. You have instant sympathy the minute you claim anything. Oregon State had the number 2 defense in the Pac-12 last year. Do you think they take a step back this year? Yes, Coach AD, I do. They had 2 NFL corners. They had Omar Speights transfer out. They got a great transfer portal player. I'll be talking about him in the next couple of weeks. Transfer from Wyoming. Go look up his tape. He's amazing. But, I think Oregon State takes a step back. I also think all the offenses in the Pac-12 get better because all the quarterbacks returned. All their star quarterbacks returned, except for who's the kid at UCLA? DCR, whatever his name is. RCD, what is his name? You guys know his name. It's 3 letters. I'm drawing a blank now. He's not in college anymore. I don't remember who he is. No, but DRC, right? Yeah. Nonetheless, Offenses will be better. Their numbers are going to get worse. They're also going to score a little more, so they'll be on defense a little more. More stats will get put up. People who claim they were raped need to be held accountable and serve time in jail, pay fines. Yeah, I don't know about pay fines, but definitely go to jail. You need to make it a deterrent. You need to make it a deterrent, like a real one. Right? You need to make it so they don't want to do it. That's what you need to do. What's your thoughts on USC going to the Big Ten? None, Raider Rich. Not worried about it. It's, teams realign, conferences realign. My thoughts are they're going to a new conference. Go play your new opponents. That's what happens. It's what happens in college football. It's been happening our entire lives. For Colorado, we will see after September. Most definitely. Colorado could definitely pull on some upsets. Yeah, I just don't think they're all – I don't think the upsets of the major perennial powers is going to happen. Not to Colorado. They might upset one another. They might upset another team. But they're not going to upset some of these perennial powers. This is not going to happen. Purdue needs to unload basketball coach. Purdue underperforms with what they have. Okay, I'm going to stop the chat right there on Steve. I'm going to go back and read the next story. Let's go. So, I want to talk about this. The Rams released running back Tyon Evans. Tyon Evans, if you guys didn't know, went undrafted. Okay, so after the draft, I get notified by everybody. Their favorite player wasn't drafted. Rico, please do a story on how he's going to make it in the league. So Tyon Evans, I just want to point out that some of these players get bad guidance from their agents, from their friends and family, or even from a coach if they still confide in one. He had no business trying to make the Rams roster. The Rams have 3 running backs. They had Cam Akers. They have 2 other guys. I'm forgetting their names right now. But they also drafted Zach Evans. So you already know they got 4 running backs. You're not going to make this team, and you still go to the team. And you're an undrafted free agent, and you guys got to know, Tyon Evans had no business leaving school. He had 1 more year of eligibility left. He should have stayed, but he's one of these kids coming out of high school. He went straight to a Juco. I think he went to Coffeyville. No, it was Hutchinson. Hutchinson, I'm sure. So he goes to Hutchinson Community College, plays pretty good, All-American. They say he's the number 1 rated running back coming out of the Juco, whatever. Goes to Tennessee, and he's their running back for like half the year. Then he gets an ankle injury, 2021. Gets an ankle injury, doesn't finish the season. Only 500 yards rushing. Then, last year, he transfers to Louisville, starting running back. Ankle injury, doesn't finish the season. So you did not finish the season, you got injured, and you still declare for the draft. 500 yards rushing. And you go undrafted because he runs a 4.55 40. He's a short little compact dude. He looks like an NFL running back, but he's got an uphill battle to make it in the league. And it's a harsh reality. But undrafted running backs make it. Undrafted free agent running backs make it in this league. But if you got signed after the NFL draft and you've already been released, we haven't even got to camp yet, bro. All they had was the mini camp and the OTAs. You don't even get through the organized team activities. You're in an uphill battle for your career. I'm letting you know right now. This man is going to be in a long stretch. So he gets released by the Rams, and the Panthers claim him off waivers. So now he's in camp with the Panthers. I have a feeling he's going to be in camp with a whole lot of teams. And this is just a young man who, he's got dreams and aspirations of playing in the NFL, but he went about it the wrong way. If you ask me, you stay 1 more year, develop yourself. But when you see a kid go from Juco to Tennessee to Louisville, I mean, he's just transferred so many times. He just overvalues or over-evaluates himself as an NFL football player, and he's obviously not one. He's just not there right now. And it's going to be a long journey. It really is. The Patriots did the same thing. They released James Robinson. Robinson just signed in the offseason. This is great news if you're an undrafted free agent for the Patriots. I want to show you something. Their undrafted free agents are Malik Cunningham. He's going to wide receiver. Johnny Lumpkin, Jordan Heilig, and Ed Lee. Now, for me, these are undrafted signings right here. These guys are going to be in camp all the way through August. Mini camp invites, these guys down here, they have a real long shot. And that goes for every single team. So when you look at an NFL team, you'll see their signings, who they signed after the draft, and then you'll see mini camp invites. These guys got their work cut out. Mini camp invites are really, really low chance of making the team. Undrafted free agent signings, you got a fair shot. You're probably going to make the practice squad, get cut, something like that. So just so you guys are aware of how it works. But shout out to New England Patriots. Malik Cunningham might make this team. Because I'm just letting you know, he might make the team. Because they're releasing somebody to keep someone. They're releasing somebody to keep someone. And this was a couple $1 million that they just cleared up. So shout out to the Patriots. By the way, Saquon Barkley did not get a second contract. Everybody was talking about it. He needs to get that second contract. You get through your rookie contract as a running back in the NFL, you don't get a second contract. You get franchised. And he just got franchised. $10 million. I'm not paying any running back $10 million, guys. I'm drafting a rookie. I don't care where you draft him. Draft a rookie. Get an undrafted free agent, but don't be paying $10 million for your running back. That's too much money to one position. I'm letting you know right now. Too much money to that position. Look at this. Hey, shout out to Marty Mappau. You get a Hall of Famer for $4 million, $5 million, 4 years, $5 million. 4 years, $5 million, Marty Mappau. You cannot afford to pay somebody $10 million. You just can't do it. Will Parks' career is over, bro. Will Parks' career is over. This is a guy who used to play for the Broncos. Got released, though. Undrafted guy. Been working hard. Career is over. Just letting you know. I go and look at this stuff. I get excited. But let's get out of here. We'll get to Sue Bird right now. We'll get to Sue Bird. Let me get back to the chat, and we'll get back to Sue Bird. Let's talk. Oh, my goodness, Sue Bird. Oh, by the way, I don't have it pulled up here, but Amanda Nunes retired. Let's talk about it. I'm so grateful that she retired. I never want to see that woman fight again, and it's not because of the way she fights. I can't stand her interviews. Her post-fight interviews are the worst. Use a translator or speak English. You got two options. She chooses neither. I cannot stand Amanda Nunes. I just can't. There's nothing likable about this dude. I can't do it. I don't even like that they let her in the ring without checking her cup. I just feel this way about Amanda Nunes. It is what it is. Grateful that she retired. Shout out to her. Enjoy your time in fatherhood. Nonetheless, back to the chat. Will Primetime win a national championship about 4 to 5 years from now? I don't think so, GOAT. I don't think that that's a realistic expectation. First and foremost, winning a national championship in the Pac-10 at that point will be very difficult. They just won't have they won't get good seeding in the playoffs. So you're not going to be one of the top seeds. You're not going to get a bye. So you're going to have to win a ton to even get there, even if you're the conference champ. Because UCLA, USC leave. Now you're left with 10 teams. No one's going to respect the conference strength of schedule for all that much. You might get an invite if you're undefeated, right? But his son's leaving. He's only guaranteed to be there at least 2 years. The buyout's really steep the first 2 years. After that, the buyout's real. He can roll out somewhere else. You're going to be down an offensive coordinator. Sean Lewis is going to get hired somewhere else. Chad Kelly might get hired somewhere else. You got to think about how much is going to change over the next 4 or 5 years at this program. If they're successful, if they're on the trajectory of a national championship, they're going to lose their offense and defensive coordinators. They're going to lose them because they're going to get hired to be head coaches elsewhere. They're going to get hired to be, and they're going to get raises and leave. They also none of the players on the team will have any relevant role 4 or 5 years from now. So I just don't think it's realistic. I don't think Coach Prime is a long-term employee at Colorado. I think if Coach Prime is extremely successful, he moves on to another university for a bigger paycheck. I think he moves to Florida State, to A&M. He moves to somewhere big if he's successful and if he's on the trajectory of a national championship. I'm serious. I think he gets hired by another university. So I don't think it's a long-term deal at all. Now, if he's not successful, he gets fired. And those are the two realities of being a head coach at the FBS level. You either get hired or fired. There's nothing else. Very few Kirk Ferentz in this world. Very few long-tenured coaches at one university. And we're talking about 133 head coaches. And in the last, who knows how many, there's only been 5 national championship coaches. There's only 5. So you can't sit here and say, is he going to win a national title? Only 5 guys have done it. And they've done it with monumentally great teams. What is the word I want to use? They've done it with generational players. Shout out to Trevor Lawrence or Brock Bowers. You got to find some insane unicorn to come win a national title for you. And that's just pretty much it, man. That's just the way it goes. So, no, I don't see it 4 or 5 years from now. I love Central Florida transfer Mikey Keene to Tedford's Fresno State offense. You think you can develop him into an NFL quarterback? Yeah, Daniel Vargas, this is my recipe, man. That kid's a player. I love everything Tedford's doing, and Fresno State tends to produce pretty good players under Tedford. So I'm cool with Mikey Keene. I told everyone once transferring in, he's the alpha of that room. They have a kid named Woods at quarterback. He's backing up Mikey Keene. Woods looks like a professional quarterback to me as well. I don't know if he stays there to back him up and only starts 1 year, or he could leave. But Woods, out of that they had 5 quarterbacks in that room. Woods looks really good. You go look him up. He's great. Last year, Jackson State was ranked top 10 in the FCS offensively and defensively. No other SWAC team came close. Almost every school on that list played each other at some point, except for JSU. Thoughts? I don't know what you mean. They all played each other. Thoughts? I don't know. That doesn't have anything to do with anything. The Colorado offense and defensive coordinators are not the JSU offense and defense coordinators. Like, it's different coordinators, so it's different teams. At the FCS level, you didn't play against the other top teams, is what you're saying? They all played each other? Well, they play in the playoffs. Of course they played each other. In the SWAC, you're not playing against everybody. You just play in your division. You can only beat who's on your schedule, bro. But 3,000 yards is 3,000 yards. 40 touchdowns is 40 touchdowns. I don't care. It is what it is. What's Arizona's record going to be next year? Henry Anderson. I don't make a lot of guesses at things. That's kind of not my bag, bro. Arizona's record next year is going to be what their record is. We'll see. Jayhawk League is deep. Yes, it is. What's up with – sorry, chat jumped on me. What's up with these 4 stars committing to Colorado? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? That's a terrible question, Chris. You worded that question badly. Yes, you did. That means nothing to me. Who shouldn't they commit? Yeah, why shouldn't they commit? Thank you, Lamont Simmons. Drama for your mama, Liberty, Nevada. There we go. Chris, Rico doesn't talk commits, bruh. Transfer portal expert. Thank you very much, Lawrence Collins. He's running with the second team. He'll have a chance to prove himself during camp. Yep. What do you think of Eric Gentry? I always see him tackling 5 yards off the ball, never downhill or close to the line of scrimmage. Yeah, it happens. It happens. Hesitation, not stepping forward. It is what it is. It happens. Do you think Matt Bowling lived up to the hype, or was he a bust? A plus behaving. He's talking about Matt Bowling. If you guys don't know who Matt Bowling is a white sprinter in the world of track. So he sticks out because he's a white man, because he's white, Caucasian, from Texas. He's actually a twin, by the way. Matt Bowling, in high school, I think he ran a 9.9 or a 10 flat, right? He was deemed everything, white lightning, all that stuff. Goes to Georgia and absolutely rips it at Georgia. What people don't understand is he's not a bust, and he's not all hype. He's legit. What's wrong at Georgia, they had a coaching change. They don't peak at the right time. They peak in the indoor season. All their best times, all their PRs for the year are all done in the indoor season. And what happened was, if you're paying attention, they had the opportunity to get ready for Worlds, and none of their guys are going to be ready because they're not peaking properly. They're just overusing their guys early in the season. By the time they get to national championships, all their times are off. They're not performing well. This just happened to Arkansas. Brittany shows up. Brittany Wilson is the 400 favorite, the 400 hurdles favorite, 400 all this stuff. She's going to do the double in the national championships, and she can't do it. She shows up. She's burned out, can't win any more races, and she's slow. And this is the collegiate record holder. And she just burned out and did nothing. She couldn't even run the 4x4. What happens to Aiden Owens de Lerma, the 400 hurdler who made it to the finals as well? Arkansas burned out, didn't even make the championship. Like, it happens with bad coaching. Bad coaching. You don't know how to time your athletes to ramp up for the most important meet. It's something that Holloway talked about at Florida. Sorry, guys, for going on this track tangent. I'm a track expert. But Holloway, he's the head coach of Florida. He said, hey, guys, we don't win the SEC. Because the SEC championships are too early in the season. We're going to win the national championship and get ready for Worlds later this summer. And sure enough, all his sprinters are doing their PRs and dominating later in the season And all those other teams that were good at the beginning of the season, Georgia, LSU, nope, beating them all. Prime example, Elijah Godwin finally got away from Georgia. Elijah Godwin last year for the World Championships, was it last year or 2 years ago? Last year. They're doing back-to-back World Championships. Anyways, so last year, Elijah Godwin ended up running, and he started running 44s out of nowhere. And they're like, what happened? They trained with Team USA. He got with the national team because he got on the relay, and they started teaching him how to finish strong as opposed to starting too early. It's coaching, guys. It's coaching. And Georgia wasn't great at coaching their track athletes, and they have amazing track athletes. Matthew Bowling's real. He's great. But I think he's a 400-meter runner. I really do. But shout out to him for being – he was a 200-meter indoor champ. He's the national champ at 200 meters indoors. You think he's a bust? You only watch an outdoor track? That's crazy. Where do you think Derek LeBlanc would be a good fit at, even though he's 5 months removed from high school? I don't know, Gabriel Johnson. I don't know. It's better to learn from somebody who actually played the game. NFL coaches are based on relationships. That's what you said. So relationships and nepotism, two different things. Relationships, they're based on nepotism. Nepotism means a relative. It means your offspring. It means because you're the son of somebody, you got hired. Or because you're a brother or a sister. That's nepotism, using your relatives for your ability to get hired. Relationships a little different. It's who you know, right? It is not better to learn from somebody who actually played the game. That is an absurd statement, Flyboy. It is better to learn from someone that is great at teaching. Okay? Just because you played the game doesn't mean you know how to teach others to do it. I want to make this very clear. There are people who can do things naturally and cannot teach you how to do it. They just can't. And they lack the desire to teach you how to do it. That's a whole nother agenda if you don't have it. So please don't think for a second all past players are good coaches, because they're not. Some of them are just very athletically gifted and not mentally gifted. They can't articulate it and teach it. The best coaches are the ones who had to learn the fundamentals, but got enough exposure at a high level to learn the advanced aspects of each game and different scheme. That's what it really comes down to, not previous players. Previous players are not the best coaches. There is only one league in the entire world, in the sports world, that uses previous players predominantly, and that's basketball. Basketball uses previous players, but they're only teaching schemes at a high level. They're not necessarily teaching the players fundamentals on how to play better, right? You're not trying to teach them how to dribble or how to take better jump shots or any of that stuff. You're teaching them your offensive schemes and defensive schemes, but that's just because you got exposure at the NBA level. Teaching people fundamentals on how to play better is not something the head coaches in the NBA are that's not their strong suit. But in the inverse, football, some of your coaches, your position coaches, theoretically, if you went through the hiring process of being a assistant, a position coach, a coordinator, and then a head coach, you've gotten enough exposure at each level. You can then teach the fundamentals within particular position groups. You can actually do it. That's not expected at the NBA level. At the same time, some coaches don't get exposure at each echelon, right? Coach Prime has never been a coordinator. And this is why when you get fired as a head coach, you go and get hired as a coordinator. This is why. Because, 1 second, there's a guy in here who says, this dude never has more than 30 people listening. Alex, you're out of the loop, bro. We got YouTube over here. I'm on a live stream. I'm doing my podcast. This is not my podcast down here. This is just so you guys can watch. Nonetheless, back to what I was saying. This is why Coach Prime, there's concern that when he doesn't work out, because coaches only get hired and fired, when you get fired, you usually go to a coordinator position to rehabilitate, to wait for your next job opening, your next offer. Or you go to Bama and be an assistant, right? Some type of analyst. But Coach Prime doesn't have that experience. And it's not like he's going to get fired and go take a defensive coordinator position because he's not in the grind of being a head coach. And this is a non-traditional hire, and it's just a different thought process where there are position coaches that are former players. They're everywhere. Position coaches are all former players because they're teaching fundamentals. But don't think for a second head coaches are all former players because it's just not happening. Anyways, thoughts on Ben Perry, the Louisville safety? No real thoughts. Sorry, Subcent. I got nothing there. He didn't transfer, and I typically talk about transfers, so it is what it is. Any prospects you've been looking at for the upcoming NBA draft? Well, there's that Whataburger kid. I'm not really looking at him. He's wimpy. I don't really worry about him. The rest of the prospects for the NBA draft, guys, it's 13 kids that are going to make the league, and everybody else is worthless. It's just the way it is. NBA teams do not need new players every year. They only have 2 rounds for a reason. First rounds are the only ones that are guaranteed to even have a contract. I can't get down with it. It is what it is. It's just so difficult to make it in the NBA. You got to be a freak. You got to be long and pause. You know the deal. Will you withhold Colorado from your final rankings? The sheer volume would definitely skew the rankings in their favor, including the impact compared to last year's team. No, Sean Whitford. No, they were number one in my winter rankings, and they were kind of going back and forth with Charlotte. I'm not withholding them. No. They're going to be number one. I can tell you that right now. That's neither here nor there. Just pay attention. Like, I don't care what the recruiting websites say. They don't even know what they're talking about. I am the expert. Like, they don't know who these transfers are. They don't know the impact level they're going to have. If you go look at rankings, they write Ernest Hausman as one of the best linebackers in the portal, and it's like, how? Because he went to Michigan? He's the second leading tackling linebacker, 4th on the team at Nebraska. He's the 4th leading tackler at Nebraska. How's he the number 1 linebacker in the portal when Mason Cobb is in the same conference and was all conference and led his team in tackles? It's apples and oranges. Those guys don't know what the hell they're talking about. They told me C.J. Dippry's one of the best tight ends in the portal. C.J. Dippry, because he went to Bama. And everybody starts getting in my chat, hey, we got the best number 1 tight end in the portal. No, you didn't. You got a second-string tight end from Maryland. He wasn't even the starting tight end at Maryland. But because Ohio State thought they were losing Stover and Bama needed a tight end, all of a sudden Ohio State and Bama are recruiting a backup tight end from Maryland. And everybody, he could start at either one of those schools. And then Stover declared that he's coming back, so Ohio State didn't need the kid anymore. Bama signs him. And everybody at the recruiting websites is going, the Bama guy. They're doing the same thing with Levitt. They're doing the same thing with Lovett, the wide receiver from Missouri. They're telling me he's one of the best wide receivers in the portal, and I'm looking at people going, what are you talking about? There are guys that were top 15 in the nation that transferred. Like, Lovett didn't have 800 yards receiving, like nothing. And Georgia doesn't even utilize receivers. If you're not McConkey, the next leading receiver was 28 receptions. They played 15 games. That's less than 2 receptions a game. It's absurd. Those websites don't know rankings. I do. And when I rank them, I don't want to hear about, Ole Miss is number 1, or LSU's number 1, or Florida State's number 1. Like, you guys, Braden Fisk is the best defensive end in the transfer portal. That's what they want you to believe? Like, dude, did no one watch Jaheim Thomas play football last year? Jaheim Thomas is an absolute monster, and he transferred to Arkansas. Like, they just don't know the players. I do. That's why I do my rankings. Hit your like button, yo. Thank you. Ray Lewis, the only one that can have that prime effect, both come from the motivational speech world. Yeah, I don't think you can motivate XFL players with the speech. XFL players are motivated trying to make it back to the NFL. They're professionals. They know what's up. It's funny that every team's fans think you're a hater because you don't like their team's draft picks. Omar Sotelo, it's not funny, bro. You know what's funny is I took down my pinned video telling everybody that I have an intentional error in every single video, right? I told everybody I put 1 error in every video. I take down that pinned video, but the fact is still there. I put 1 error in every video. These guys come to my videos, and they just start screaming up and down about how I'm so wrong about a player. And it's like, do they not know that I put in an error? They don't know, and I'm not going to correct them. I just sit there and own it. Like, yeah, that's what I said. Yep, you got me. I put 1 error in every video. Trust me. They're furious. It don't matter, bro. It don't matter. They don't move me. DTR, there it is. DTR. Dorian Thomas Robinson, or whatever his name is. Shout out to you guys. At least in the military, there's consequences. A major problem in America is there's no consequences for women making false claims. Yep. And many laugh about it in court. Yeah, it's a damn shame. You know what's crazier, Matt? they still consider her a victim of a sexual assault. They won't even release her name. Her name is nowhere in any of the stories. I think that is absurd. I'm not going to say it's a false claim. I'm going to say you lost in court. These men are innocent. Their names are in the public every day for the last 3 years, and your name can't be released? That's, I'll go, But I know Casey Anthony, right? Are you a fan of what the Packers have done with Love? On one hand, he was learning from one of the greats, but on the other, he's going into year 3 with very little production. Not a fan at all. So, Connor, I'm not a fan of Jordan Love as a football player. He got drafted based off of his bowl game his junior year. He played terrible his senior year, but they already had anointed him the greatest and a first-round draft pick at that point. Like, before the season even started. Just like when people ask me every single day, hey, Rico, do you think so-and-so's going to be a first-round draft pick? Do you think so-and-so's going to be a first? They made all their decisions on these players before their senior year, before their last year of football. Whether it's their junior or senior year, it doesn't matter. Before their last year of football, they already made up their mind on these guys. They already know who they're taking in the first round next year. They don't care how they play. Jordan Love hasn't played good football since his junior year at Utah State. He hasn't played good football. His whole senior year, he was trash. And since then, he's never played. How can I believe in the man? Now, did he learn how to become a professional? Did he learn how to get better? I don't know, man. You're telling me he learned from the best. You learned from your position coach. I don't think it's not Aaron Rodgers' job to mentor you. I don't think Aaron Rodgers was mentoring Jordan Love in any way, shape, or form. And you can't just become better through osmosis. You get what I'm saying? Like you weren't just sitting on the bench, and then all of a sudden you got off the bench. You're like, yo, I'm hitting all these shots. I watched Kobe do it at practice. Like, that doesn't happen, right? You don't just instantly become better. Matt Castle didn't turn into Tom Brady. It didn't happen. These players in the transfer portal, what happens to them? Do they become walk-ons? No, Matt, they don't become walk-ons. A lot of them don't want to be walk-ons. They don't understand that they can just go walk-on and, get student loans like anybody else. No, a lot of them just give up on football. That's the reality. They join the workforce. A lot of them give up on school and football. Some of them, because if you miss your semester and you don't enroll in school somewhere, you're not eligible. You're not academically eligible. That's a harsh reality. This is why some kids need to enroll in their Jucos now. You better get to one and start taking classes. I think you need to take 12 credits to be academically eligible for the next semester, or you're going to lose a year of eligibility. And they just go back home. They go back to the block. I'm keeping it real. They go back to the block. So join the workforce. Join the Army. Do something. But you're about to be a part of the regular society. Now, I will say this. There's a good portion of them that weren't FBS-level football players to begin with, and they figured that out after the first year. They're recruiting misses all the way around. But there are good kids still in scholarship at other schools, and there's no room. Everybody always says, why can't they go Division II? Division II, 36 scholarships. That's how many scholarships a Division II team has. Now, they can break those up and do what they want with them. You have 36 scholarships. The coaches can give one guy 1 year. They can give a partial scholarship here or there. They can reallocate it however they want. But they have 36 full scholarships, and then they can slice that up however they want. They can give you a portion here and a portion there and help you out. They give 4 quarters, right? They can do what they want to do at that point. But only 36 scholarships for Division II. So if you already got a full team and you didn't lose anybody to graduation, you're not losing guys to early draft declaration. They're not declaring for the draft. You're just losing guys to graduation or academics. And then you can offer a guy what? A partial ride? And these guys aren't taking that. I know a guy at a Power 5 school, and when I talked to him and his father, first thing they told me was, oh, Rico, we're not taking any Group of 5 offers. No way. We want Power 5. We're going to be patient. We want Power 5. And I just thought, that's absurd. And then, the tone changed. 2 weeks later, he was like, hey, we're going Juco. We're going Juco. 1 year Juco, then back to the Power 5. And I've been making these videos, high school film reviews, and my message is indirectly to that father and that son. I keep saying, hey, be patient. Do 2 years at a Juco. Hey, even if you're all conference, even if you're a preseason All-American, do another year at the Juco. Take your time. Don't rush back to Power 5. Don't do the Tyrone Evans things and declare early for the draft. Don't do it, man. Put in your work. Get developed. Stop worrying about your age. Everybody's stressing age. You're going to get one contract in the NFL. And if you're worth a damn, you're going to get another one. But you got to be worth a damn when you get there. Everybody's going to get one contract. You don't get re-signed because you're not it. There's no reason to get there too early and not ready for that one contract. But you're only getting one contract. You got your 3 or 4 years, and then you're gone. There's all these guys that are going to tell me I missed on these draft picks. They're going to tell me I missed on my draft takes. And 3-4 years from now, every guy I talked about is not getting a second contract. I see it all the time. We go to the 2017 draft. What are we in? We're in 2023. We go to 2019 NFL draft. I guarantee you there's going to be names in there in the first 4 rounds you guys don't even recognize. From your favorite team. You're not even going to recognize the names. You're not going to because they're not on the team anymore. They didn't make it. In the first 4 rounds, easy. People don't understand what's going on. People don't get it. Your opinion on transfer Kent State quarterback Colin Schley. So Colin Schley is a good quarterback. Colin Schley is a good quarterback from Kent State. He's in a system. Quarterbacks tend to look good in a Chip Kelly system. I think he fits the mold. I think he's a gunslinger, bro. I watched him play football. I like the kid. So I think he'll be their starter this year. I think UCLA might struggle this season. Might. But they had a good team, so shout out to him. Josh Jacobs ain't getting no contract either. The Raiders. Yeah, it doesn't matter how good you are. You should not get a second contract. And teams are figuring that out. And this is why you got a couple of options. If you draft a running back in the first round, you still give him his single contract, and if he's any good, you get 1 free year out of him with the 5th-year option. You do the 5th-year option for first-round drafts only. If you guys didn't know this, everybody signs a 4-year contract. First-rounders get a 5th-year option. You get a 5-year contract. But that 5th year is pretty pricey. But it's not like insane prices. It's not like the current market rate. The example would be, what's his name? Lamar Jackson. His 5th-year option was $20 million. So he was making nothing, peanuts for a while, and then his 5th-year option was $20 million. They did it. And then they didn't want to pay him. So after the 5th-year option, you can go franchise. You go franchise. You can do that 2 years. You're still not committed to a long-term contract like the way the Cowboys were with Zeke Elliott. You're not doing that nonsense. So you go franchise. That's why you draft a running back in the first round, is you get 5 years out of him, and then you go franchise. That's 7 years. That's his whole career at that point. If you got him at 23, you're not paying anybody past 30 anyways. We're not doing it. No running back is after 30. Not a running back in the NFL is playing well after 30. None of them. Cordell Patterson's the closest you're going to get. No running backs play after 30 anymore. So, saying all that, who gives a shit if you get drafted at 22 versus 24? You get one contract, bruh. You get one contract. So stop trying to get out of the league out of college as fast as possible. Don't care about the wear and tear on your tires either. Don't care if you got 200 carries a year in college. You get one contract. You're not getting a second. It's not worth it in the NFL. They're not paying you. Somebody will pay you. But you're Dalvin Cook and getting released at 28 years old. Even if you're Dalvin Cook. Even if you're Zeke Elliott and you led the league in rushing 2 years in a row or 2 out of your first 4 years, they don't care. You're the league's leading rusher. You can't find a job. Zeke Elliott's about to get signed by the Cowboys. He's about to go back to his old team for a pay cut, an insane pay cut. Going back to his old girl, bruh. You ever been back with somebody you broke up with? You ever broken up with somebody and gotten back with them? It's not the same, bro. It's not the same. Why did we break up? I don't know. That shit's going to come up at some point. What's that text message in your phone? Why does that girl keep calling? Why aren't you home on time? Why'd you lie to me? Let one thing go wrong, we're reliving that whole relationship. It is hell on earth, bro. Trying to be with somebody that you broke up with. Shout out to Zeke Elliott for trying to be with the Cowboys. That can't happen. And speaking of relationships, let's talk about Sue Bird, bro. Sue Bird is in a relationship with Rapinoe. You know Rapinoe. Where's Rapinoe at, bro? This one right here. This Rapinoe person. This little dude, the soccer player. He says, congratulations on like arguably the best career that anyone has ever had in the history of any sport. Rapinoe says Sue Bird had the best career of anyone in any sport. What? What sport? Any sport. Any sport? Who's got the best career in any sport? Somebody let me know right now. Who had the best career in I know the number one is Wayne Gretzky. If you guys don't know, Wayne Gretzky is the only GOAT in any sport that can't be debated. You can't debate Wayne Gretzky with anybody. There's no argument here. Go look at all his records. It's untouchable, unbelievable. Wayne Gretzky's the GOAT of hockey. And I don't want to hear about Hall or Gordie Howe or anybody. Wayne Gretzky's undeniably the best. But who's the best swimmer of all time? Who's the best swimmer of all time? You'd be hard-pressed to name anybody else other than Phelps. You going to go Mark Spitz? No, you're going to say Phelps and only Phelps. Ledecky, female swimmer? Okay. But what are we talking about here? You just said your wife or girlfriend, I don't know if they're married or what, but you're saying Sue Bird had the greatest career of any sport? Come on, bruh. I pulled up Sue Bird's stats for you guys, just so you know. I pulled up Sue Bird's stats for you guys. I don't know if you guys can see this. Sue Bird played 580 games in the WNBA. You want to know what her average was? 11 points. 11 points in 580 games, bruh. What is this? 11 points? The greatest career of anybody. I pulled it up, bro. I'm looking at these stats right here. It's gross. 11 points. You know, in her career, I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to make myself really small. It's on the far right over there, y'all. These points, in her career, she never averaged more than 15 points a game. Her highest is 14.7 and 14.1. This is the greatest career of all time? This is the greatest career of all time in any sport? Man, the nerve of these girls, dude. The nerve of these girls. I don't get it. Somebody let me know. Let me know if this is justified. Let me go back to the chat before I lose my mind. Is this justified? Let's go over here. Colin Schlee should start. Yes, he should. Please make sure you're hitting that like button. Thank you for me. Thank you. Oh, I'm back. The chat disconnected. Let me go back. Rico the GOAT. Try glass, and thank you very much. Rico, you're hilarious. First time I've caught it live and see your interactions and responses. Dev, we've been trying to tell everybody on TikTok they need to stop what they're doing every night. Give me 2 hours of your time. This is the show to be at. This is what we do. It is what it is. This is what we do. Will Jaden DeLara be one of the best Pac-12 quarterbacks? Yeah, he's pretty good, and he's got great targets. That's the Arizona starting quarterback, just if you guys didn't know. Jaden DeLara, sometimes I assume everybody knows all the players. Jaden DeLara is the starting quarterback at Arizona. He finally beat some false accusations of sexual assault, sexual claim. And he's got targets. T-Mac is out there. The transfer from UTEP, I'm forgetting his name right now. Crowder. What's his name? You guys know who. But I really like everything they're doing. They did lose Dorian Singer to USC, but Arizona's going to put up big numbers. Jed Fish is a great coach. They're going to put up big numbers. So shout out to Arizona. They're going to lose games, but they're going to score 40 points and they lose them. Eric Gonzalez says, yes, past players lack patience, teaching as well. There you go. Newberry Park High School cross-country team was good. Newberry Park, if you guys didn't know this, Newberry Park and who's the other team? Is it Buena Vista? Is it I just know it's Newberry Park, right? They're the ones in the yellow. Newberry Park had Nico Young and the Young twin and his younger twin brothers. And Colin, if you guys ever want to watch a documentary about cross country, just go to YouTube and look up Newberry Park. You're gonna find a video in there somewhere from I don't know who it's from. I was gonna say Cal High Sports, but maybe it's from Mile Split or Track or somebody, and it's just phenomenal. They have some of the greatest cross country athletes you've ever seen. Newberry Park is the Georgia, Alabama of cross country in the country, in high school cross country. They are the cream of the crop. You can't touch them. Newberry Park is nice. They got 5 guys better than anybody anywhere. It's remarkable. You're seeing kids running under 4 minutes in the mile. It's just incredible. They train hard. They run hard. And then I just love everything about them. So, yeah, shout out to Newberry Park. Thanks for bringing it in. Eric Gonzalez, man. I like this kid. Eric Gonzalez, this kid, I don't know who he is, but every time he comes in here, Eric Gonzalez, he does talk about Southern California very specifically, but he's just so informed on all the sports that I like it. It reminds me of me. It's cool. Could Austin Reed potentially win the starting job at a bigger school, i.e. Alabama, Georgia, or Ohio State? A+ behaving. So if you guys didn't know, Austin Reed is the starting quarterback at Western Kentucky. Now, he's a transfer from West Florida, Division II, and he transferred up to Western Kentucky. And when he got to Western Kentucky last year, he threw for over 4,000 yards. He had an amazing season. He's got a good wide receiver in Malachi, right? So he has Corley. He has such a good team and such a good feel for the game. Austin Reed's a beast. But Austin Reed could have went pro. He would have been a 6th-round draft pick. He said, no, bro. He got offered, I think he got offered $500,000. I think he got offered $500,000 to transfer to either Kentucky or Louisville. It's one of the two because he's at Western Kentucky. He got offered $500,000 to go to one of those schools, and he turned it down. And he said he turned it down because that's short-term money. That NIL deal would have paid him $500,000, but had he gone to a big school in the Power 5, he says he has the potential to have a bad year. You go to Power 5 and just have an average year, and you're going to still go in the 6th round. It doesn't improve your draft stock. He says, or I can turn down that money, come back to Western Kentucky, and ball out and throw for another 4,000 yards. And I'll get drafted in the 3rd or 4th round. He's playing the long game. He wants to get drafted because that's better money, right, than the 6th, 3rd, or 4th round. He's a smart kid. He's a good quarterback. If I ever get a chance to watch Western Kentucky, and I watch him every week, I love to watch Western Kentucky football. Tyson Helton's an amazing head coach. He knows how to throw the ball, great passing schemes, everything. Tyson Helton, brother to Clay Helton, right, former USC head coach. Tyson Helton is one of those guys who just keeps implementing that pass-happy offense that they learned from Jeff Brom. Just so you guys know, Jeff Brom was the head coach. Offensive coordinator was Tyson Helton and Zach Kitley. And these guys all went their separate ways and spread all over the country. But Tyson Helton's there running that show right now. So, yeah, I really like Austin Reed. Austin Reed's a better quarterback than all the quarterbacks at those 3 schools. Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State, anybody can start there. Anyone can start at those 3 schools. The backup quarterback at Notre Dame is starting at those schools, and a backup can transfer into the SEC and start. Shout out to Jake Garcia, I don't know, Joe Milton, Hendon Hooker, Jackson Dart, Jaden Daniels, Spencer Rattler, Graham Mertz. Backup quarterbacks are transferring into these schools all over the place and starting because they don't recruit quarterbacks well. They don't evaluate the quarterback position well. They just don't. They don't know how. They're not getting pros. And guys can just show up and take the starting job, and that's what's happening. So, but at the same time, they're going to keep trying to develop their 5-star guys, and they believe in them. But they're not him. This is why I think LSU is poised to win the SEC next year. I like LSU and Arkansas a lot more than some of these other schools because of their quarterback play, because of their senior quarterback play. I like them a lot. So, shout out to LSU. Just keeping it real. Can Reggie Young take Gerald Hitchens? Yeah, Reggie Young's good. Reggie Young's good. Reggie Young's a good player. I watched him on tape. I like Reggie Young. If you didn't know, he's a tackle. He's a good kid. Would you ever start your own ranking system or website to compete with rivals 24/7? You know, Jack, I don't even consider them competition. I only use those websites because they have pictures and names, but I don't trust anything on the websites. I don't want to start a website. I want to start a movement. Okay, I've been thinking about this for a while now. I feel like there's nobody, and Kim Jones and I, we talk about this often. There's nobody in this world that knows more about the transfer portal than me. There's nobody that knows the players more than me. So, like, I as an individual need to somehow get this information out. I'll buy that. But if I start a website, how do I get my employees and everybody who's working for me to understand what I know, right? It becomes impossible at that point. So I think this is my avenue of approach. I think this is my thing, is to be a personality and to talk about it. I do have the gift of being, quick-witted, informed. I can retort and answer questions on live 24/7. Like, there's some people out there who think I sit here and Google all these questions and answers. Like, there are people who don't believe in me at all, and they think I am Googling my answers. They think I don't know any of the players, and I just Google them before I talk. Like, there's guys who think like this, and I think if you do a live show every single day and you prove what you know, there's no denying it at that point, right? So this is what we're doing here. But at the same time, if you look at how they started Barstool, and you look at how they started some of these other startups and these sports podcasts and everything, it was just a group of guys hanging out and talking. The difference is I'm not a group of guys. I'm just one. I'm just me. I don't have a group of guys. Now, I do have some other creators I like to hang out with, and we send each other messages every single day. And I see some personalities I could get along with, but I can't be co-host with anybody, right? So I have a hard time finding my niche in the sports world outside of me just talking. But you'll notice when people do podcasts with another person, it's because they can't hold the conversation by themselves. I can. There's no dead air time. I just don't have that awkward silence. I'm not sitting here fumbling around like, what am I going to talk about next? What am I going to do? No, I can just go. And if there's anybody who's ever been on like TikTok Live or Instagram Live or tried to do a podcast and you come across as not having that gift of talk, that gift of gab, that way to go, like you've seen it before. You get on live for your first time and you're just awkwardly sitting there. You're like, okay, what are they going to ask me? What am I going to say? I've never had that because I've been going on live for 6 hours at a time and just doing this before I ever got here. I've been preparing for this moment my whole life. Like I'm a first sergeant in the Army. This is what we do. We walk around and talk to hundreds, if not thousands of people every day, all day long. Motivational speaking all day long, talking and just having this gift of just having retorts and going. And it's a great thing when you're informed on the topic. So, yeah, I don't know if I want to compete with them, Jack. What I want to do is somehow become a source, and I feel like I am, but we'll keep it going. I want to be a source of information. Just like when somebody says, hey, I saw on Twitter, I saw this. Or, hey, I saw on ESPN, I saw this. Or I was watching Pat McAfee today, and I heard him say this. How about I was watching Rico Knows today, and I learned this. I was on Rico Knows channel today, and I heard about this player who went from here and here and did this and did this. That's what I want to be. I want to be a source of information and knowledge. So if you go around and you tell somebody, oh, yeah, I saw on 24/7, we're the number one ranked transfer portal team. You can go, oh, no, 24/7 doesn't have the right rankings. Rico has the right rankings. I was on Rico Knows, and I saw that we're ranked 5th. We're going to have a great season. So the way you get there is credibility, consistency, and I think I have both. And just slowly but surely, we'll just keep churning this. Literally been at this for 6 months. 6 months, I made a profit. You know, when people start a business, they tend to lose money their first year. They lose money in their first year. They lose money in their whatever. My 6 months, my first month full-time as a content creator, I made a profit. So I didn't lose money. So I feel like I got this in the bag, bro. It's the only way is up. The only way is up. I'm good. My first month ain't going to be my peak. I think I just hit 60,000 followers today. Cool. It's gonna be a small number when we're done. We're here to take over. We just, you guys just need to keep sharing the videos. Keep watching the videos and then sharing them with everybody you know. That's how we get there. And we just keep growing. But I ain't begging for shit. I don't come in here and tell you guys, throw me some more likes. Do this, do this. It is what it is. I'm just letting you know. I put in work. I can tell you guys that. What do you think about going Juco with 3 years of eligibility left? John Wick, you go where you're wanted. I don't care how many years of eligibility you got left. Go where you're wanted. That's important. Go to Juco with 3 years of eligibility left. It's a real thing because no other university is going to give you a shot. You either walk on, and walk-on life is a lonely one, or you go to Juco and you get some exposure and you get on tape. Now you better start. You better be all conference. You're wasting years. Jordan Buchanan's still in the portal. Looks like he's going to go the Juco route. Not necessarily. You'd be surprised. Sometimes they walk on because they're the kids of NFL football players. Kids like Jordan Buchanan will go walk on somewhere because your father's rich. No big deal. It is what it is. You become a preferred walk-on, and then you're a legacy. We'll see what happens. People do not know the scholarship game. Shout out to you, Tom Rose. This is true. DM'd you about DJ Youngalele thing. New fan. Keep up the great work. Ruben Russ, thank you for the tip. Every tip matters, bro. This is what I do for a living, so I appreciate you guys. So if you didn't know, the DJ Youngalele thing, there's a lot of drama going on with that. I stay away from some of the gossip. I like to wait till I have verified sources and information. I never want to ruin my credibility, but I get a whole lot of gossip in my DMs, y'all. That's proof. Ruben Rust reach out to me. I get full pages of gossip about certain players, their families, decisions people are making. I get coaches. I have parents reaching out to me saying, my son's been mistreated by this coach. You say this coach is great. He mistreated my son. Let me tell you how and why. Now, I understand I'm listening to a story from a biased person, but it does give me some insight into some of the decision-making done by certain coaches, and it's problematic, right? So, but shout out to everybody, because I'm going to listen. I'm going to read. Doesn't mean I'm going to make a video on it, but I'm here. I'm digesting it. I'm with you. I appreciate you, Ruben Rush. Shout out to you, man. And it's always nice to find a new follower, new supporter of the channel. We do this every night, 5 nights a week. Weekends, I grind. It is what it is. But I study all day, guys. I put in 12-hour days of studying. It's what I do. Saquon Barkley is going through that contract issue right now. Giants ain't trying to pay him. Exactly, Zion. They're not going to pay him. They're going to pay that $10 million, get as much they can out of him, and then send him down the road. It is what it is. Rico, did you see the finals game 4 ratings, second lowest ever? Anime King, I'm waiting for the finals to be complete, but I already told you guys. I'm on record. I have the video made already. I am right. I told you guys the ratings will be the worst in the history, and everybody told me I'm wrong, and everybody told me I didn't know what I'm talking about. I told you this will be the lowest ratings, and we're killing them. Every time there's an NBA Finals game, I go live at the same time. I get my 100 people in here to watch me, and we're killing the ratings. I got more people watching me than the NBA does. The NBA, nobody's watching that game. You know where they're getting their ratings from? Bars. There's bars putting the game on. Nobody's watching that game. It's just bars. I hear my dog chewing something. Give me 1 second. What are you chewing, young lady? Okay. She don't want to tell me. Sorry. Let's go. Should Colorado join the Big 12? Texas and Oklahoma are leaving. No point. What do you mean no point? What do you mean no point? Conference affiliation is extremely important. Conference affiliation is extremely important. Where are you recruiting? Who are you playing against? There's a point to join the Big 12. You don't want to be in the Pac-10, and who are they losing? Who are they bringing in? SMU, San Diego State? You better get it. You better get somewhere fast. We're at a dance, and everybody's got a partner to dance with. You're looking around. You might end up with the fat chick. You might end up with the fat chick who smells like B.O. You better go find somebody else. It's cool, man. She just got braces. She's still pretty. I'm just saying, you're at the school dance, and you're running out of dance partners. You might be in a circle with a bunch of dudes. You guys those ones? You guys dancing in a circle with all your buddies? All right, show me your best dance move, bro. Damn, we could have had a girl. Just saying, find a partner. Find a partner that wants you. That's all I'm saying. Adrian Peterson played into his 30s. He was not the same, though. So no Zion. So there's 2 guys that played into their 30s recently that we can talk about. Obviously, Frank Gore, and Adrian Peterson. Both Hall of Fame running backs. No one else. The last time a 30-year-old running back rushed for over 1,000 yards, 2019. No one else is doing it. It's not a thing. I had to look into this like 5 years ago. This is why I know it so well. I started looking around going, oh, my God, they're getting rid of everybody. Anybody over 30 is gone. The career's over. DeMarco Murray, gone. You can lead the league in rushing. You're out 3 years later. They don't care. He ain't nothing special. This is why Emmitt Smith's record is safe. Nobody's going to get there. They're not using running backs like that anymore. Dalvin Cook is 27. He might get a 3-year contract with the Dolphins. So Zion, everybody's assuming he's going to go to the Dolphins, right, for a 3-year contract. Listen, mark my words right now. They are going to regret signing him to that 3-year contract. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you pay him. They're going to regret it. By the 3rd year, he will not be worth that money. It happens with every single running back. By the end of that contract, you start going, man, that guy makes $12 million? Oh, man, he sucks. One of the worst running. How much are we paying him by the yard? And he's only getting 3 yards a carry. It happens all the time. It's been happening consistently. And this is why guys just fade away. Star running backs just fade away. Don't pay them. Serena Williams, Clark. Sue Bird, companion, was drinking that Kool-Aid. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Tom Brady, exactly. They have to be trolling. Mayweather, Brady, Jordan, Serena, yep. If you're not tuning into Rico Knows, then what are you doing? Shout out to, LJ2 Lit Media. Shout out to you, bruh. I don't know what anybody else is doing. Do you think Georgia will take it again? No, James Obleton, I do not. I'm really high on LSU. I just don't think Georgia's got the quarterback to do it. I don't think they have if they're going to take it again, this is their last year. Brock Bowers leaves, and at that point you don't have a unicorn anymore. But I feel like when you lose such great players, like I've seen Smile Munden. Smile. Is it Smile Munden? Smile Munden. I watched all these guys play in high school. I live in Georgia. I watch all these players play. Some of them aren't really good. Some of them aren't NFL caliber players. Everybody thinks they're all 5-star guys. They could be 5 stars. That's what those stupid websites say. I watch them play, and I go, hey, that guy can't play football. He don't look that good to me. I feel that way about a lot of Georgia players. He don't look that good to me. Now, Brock Bowers, unicorn, best player. Right? One of the top 5 players in the country, regardless of position. Brock Bowers is a damn stud. Got it. But once he's gone, what do you got? Who out there is making the difference? Who out there is moving the chains? I don't know. You just lost Jalen Carter. Right? That's all I'm saying. It's a little different. If y'all enjoyed tonight, please subscribe to Rico. Throw a like. It really helps. Yes, it does. Thank you very much. What do you think about Texas State and what they're building? I think they're taking back Texas, Malik Rice. I think they're taking back Texas. Right? They hired G.J. Kinney, the head coach from Incarnate Word. Comes over, goes to San Marcos, and starts doing his thing. Recruiting his ass off. He's towards the tops of my recruiting, my transfer portal rankings. They're getting a ton of transfer portal guys. And they're doing the best they can with what they got. Now, they play in a tough conference. They have tough opponents. They had a bare cupboard to start with. They got to fight back to get to the top. But my goodness, I like G.J. Kinney. I'm encouraged by it. So we'll see what happens. I'm pulling for him. I'm excited about teams that utilize the transfer portal that much. Texas State, take back Texas. They're getting every single guy who ever left Texas. Come on back. We got you. What up, Top? Shout out to you. What Steve said. Thank you. Do you think Travis Hunter's weight will actually be a problem? People are making a big deal or no reason. Yeah, no, it's not a problem. Travis Hunter's weight doesn't matter. How much does Forbes weigh? Forbes was just the second corner drafted in the NFL draft. Emmanuel Forbes from Mississippi State. Let's go find out what Forbes weighs. 6 foot, 181 pounds. I think Travis is more than that right now. Forbes is 181. What do we care about people's weight for? It's not like the guy's walking around 160. He's got 2 more years of lifting. He's fine. I don't know what people are looking for. Not everybody's chiseled, man. I'm telling you. My favorite receiver in this draft was Tank Dell. Nathaniel Dell. Tank Dell. Rico, 2 questions. 1, who is your sleeper team in the SEC? 2, have you ever been stationed in Germany? John White, 2 answers. Number 1, my sleeper team in the SEC, it's not going to sound good because I don't think a sleeper is going to win the SEC. But there are 2 sleepers for me. One is South Carolina, and the other is Texas A&M. Texas A&M, just based off the sheer talent level that they have a really talented roster. If they can put it together and change their culture and win, then more power to them. They got rid of a lot of bad eggs. So A&M, sleeper, but my goodness, what Shane Beamer's doing at South Carolina and making them winners, I really like the way they ended last season. I like South Carolina. I know they lost some players in the transfer portal. Don't care. I like the coach and what he's doing there. So those are my 2 sleepers. Now, I don't think they're going to win anything, but those are my sleepers. Next, have I ever been stationed in Germany? So I went to Germany for a international cyber mission later in my career, around 15-year mark. I was an E7, and what I did – so I have a very unique military career. So I don't do normal PCSs and transfers. I'm a senior cyber leader. I do international cyber missions for – I go like TDY for 180 days, come back to America for 10, and then go TDY again for 180 days. So I did that in Germany, and I was at Ramstein and in the southwest corner, man, I forget the name of the city I was in, and I should know it. Patch Barracks. That's all I remember, Patch Barracks. But I was there with 3 other E7s. We grew beards, and we went on missions in the Middle East. So I was actually in Italy, Syria, Turkey. I was doing international missions. We were doing site surveys. Some other shit, man. I can't really go into detail. But, it's just a different experience. So I was in Germany, but only for Stuttgart. That was the name of the city, Stuttgart. We went to Euro World or something like that, but we traveled a lot. We went to Amsterdam, Prague, Paris. Sorry for the tangent about my life, but that's what we did. I didn't learn any French while I was there. I just ate a lot of Italian food, which is weird because it was really good Italian food in Germany, and prime rib and maybe schnitzel. But it is what it is. It was cold as hell. There's some pictures out there on the internet of me in Germany, though. There are. It's pretty cool. You hip shoot well, and very obviously you read and educate. I see it, saw it from day one. Rock on, bro. Thank you, Slap Happy. I appreciate you, man. I do my best. I knew you would like Reggie Young to see you move. Can he take? Yeah, I think he can, Matt. I think Reggie Young, the second, is a good offensive tackle. He used to play at Liberty, guys. He transferred in. This was a Juco transfer. I like him. So remember, Hugh Freeze really valued him when he was at Liberty. I just like transfer portal kids showing up and balling out. Hope he can do it. Had guys walk on at my school just to be on the scout team for 3+ years. Could have went Juco, but said they were better than that. Delusional. Yeah, it happens all the time. Happens all the time. But remember this. Sometimes Juco players are better than Division II and Division III players by a wide margin, right? They're really good FCS level players or FBS level players. And that's why you don't see too many guys leaving a Juco going down to the Division II and III, because they're actually better than them. And they believe it. But it's a number of slots, bro. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how good you are. Some people are married, bro. You might be better than a lot of other. I always use relationships because I just want you to know you're going to be single. You don't have a partner. Those people are already married. You see fine-ass girls everywhere. They're already taken. They're spoken for. They're in the wrong relationship, but they're already spoken for. You can't just show up and take it. I mean, you can if you're Rico, but you can't do that for everybody else. So you can't just go like to a school and be like, yeah, I'm here. I'm the new starter. No, you're not. They already have other guys on scholarship, and they're recruiting more guys. They don't want you. I'm telling you. I saw a great running back out of Kansas this year. A great running back out of Kansas this year. His name is Beans on TikTok. Beans hits me up and goes, yo, Rico, you mind looking at my tape? I looked at his tape, and I go, holy shit, he's great. Oh, my God, he's great. Where's he going? UNLV. What? Best running back I've seen on tape all year. How's he going to UNLV? Oh, well, nobody else had scholarships. Kansas, K-State was full. Missouri was full, so I had to go to anywhere. And then all of a sudden, Odom used to be a head coach in the SEC. He's now at UNLV. He knows how to recruit. He's recruiting his own stopping grounds, and he sees, man, I see a hell of a running back out there in the Midwest. Brings him over to UNLV. I'm telling you, there's a great running back going to UNLV this year. I already made a video about him. You got to go way back on my YouTube to find it. But if you go way down on my YouTube, there's a video, and it says UNLV as a future star. Promise you. And I'm convinced they got the best running back I've seen on tape all off season. And I watch a lot of film, right? I watch a ton of film. So there's things there. You just got to find seats. Let's go back up. Rico and those study habits, inspiring. I'm not trying to inspire you guys. I'm just letting you know this is how I eat, so I do study. If Colorado does join the Big 12, they're going to have to step up their basketball programs. Stat. That is correct, because when you join a conference, you're bringing all your other sports with it. And their basketball program, I like Colorado's basketball program, but Big 12's real. She got braces. I'm just keeping it real. DeMarco Murray was chopped liver. He has on chopped liver just because he got old. You get old, you got to go. Think Dalvin could end up with the Cowboys based on the recent decisions. Yeah, it could happen. And just because Rico cares, last 2 spots for College World Series decided tonight. Hey, man, that's exciting. That's exciting. I'll read about it in the morning, Steve. That's exciting. Last 2 spots left in College Baseball World Series. Go get it, guys. Whoever's playing that boring shit and whoever's in the stands watching it, more power to you. Did the XFL really lose $60 million? If so, how does this affect them moving forward? Gregory Little, yes, they didn't lose $60 million, but I want to make this very clear. They might have lost more. They just don't need to publicize it. But they hired a private third-party investigator to do a review and help them understand where they lost most of their money. And they lost their money in their annual employees. Because they're not an annual job, right? They only have a season this long. What are they paying these guys for year-round? They got to pay them. These employees make more than the players. We're talking about 6-figure jobs in the executive positions, executive marketing, executive whatever. Like, there's all these people getting paid all year round by the XFL. You can't afford to do that. You're not the NFL. The NFL has executive offices all year round. And they're paying all these guys. And it's peanuts compared to the players, obviously. But that budgeting, that operating budget, they didn't account for that in the XFL. And it ruined them. So what they did was they're doing the UPS thing. They're doing, or the H&R Block thing. They're just making their whole season seasonal. All right, we're going to hire you, but you're not going to be with us the rest of the year. We're not going to pay you in all our off-season months. This will reduce the pay, right? This will reduce costs. So they just went ahead and just fired a bunch of people, just laid off all kinds of important people. And they said, hey, they might get their jobs back next year. Now, these people did terrible at their job. It was the Vegas marketing team, number one. They fired like 13 people from Vegas. But those 13 people, that's like $1.3 million right off the bat, if they're all six-figure jobs. And they probably are. You're not working for a corporation making 50, 60, 70,000. You're just not. At least I wouldn't be. Right? So they lost there. But here's the crazy thing. What people don't understand is they're prepared to lose. They're prepared to lose. They said they don't plan to make any money till 2028. They're prepared to lose their money from now until 2028. I think they just want to, marginalize and reduce the losses. They need to somehow just keep it low enough that they can handle it. Now, they have a great marketing deal with Progressive. The commercials, Progressive, the insurance company, they already have an agreement there. They have 2 ad companies, Progressive and one more. It escapes me right now. I read it in the story yesterday. So Progressive and one more person has a marketing campaign with them for the next 3 years. They've already agreed to it. So they're doing the commercials. Every time you watch a game on ESPN, there's commercials. But the sad reality is their TV contract is with ESPN, ABC, and they're not letting them on ABC networks. They got to be on ABC. Their games have to be on regular channels. Regular cable. If you got to go to premium cable, ESPN Plus, they're losing their ass because they're not getting good ratings. USFL has way better ratings, and it's just because their games are on Fox and NBC. It's crazy. Nobody's watching USFL games, but they are because it's 2 million people turning on the TV every night, and they give 5 channels, and one of them just so happens to be Fox or, NBC. Nobody accidentally gives ESPN. You got to pay for it. And that's the problem. They're not getting residual views. And when you don't have the right amount of ratings, you can't sell your advertising. You can't sell your commercials. You can't charge a certain price for your commercials. They can charge a certain amount. The USFL is making a ton of revenue off commercials. That's why I tell everybody, the ratings are everything. Ratings are the money. People go, I don't understand why there's nobody in the stands at those games. Dude, the stands ain't got shit to do with it. Now, there's one solution to all this. The one solution is you don't own the teams. If you don't own the teams, sell the teams to investors. Now you sell the right. This is what the MLS did. MLS is letting people buy the teams. So the MLS went from nothing to something, and now the MLS teams are worth $900 million. Teams are worth $400, $600 million because you let other investors, owners, buy the teams. And now you only run the 3-letter network or agency, and you let other teams be owned by other people. The Rock right now, he owns all the teams. Well, that's kind of dumb. Now you own all the operating costs. But if you can sell each team and you can find investors, you say, hey, man, you want to own an XFL team, it's $5 million. You know how many people would buy an XFL team for $5 million? That would infuse your entire league with money, and you're not on the hook for it operating. But because they want to, quote-unquote, micromanage it, and they want to make sure everything's equivalent, they own all the teams right now because they want all the profits. What they're doing is they're following the UFC model of owning everything, the WNBA model, and the only way that works is if you have a larger corporation backing you, and they don't have a larger corporation backing them. This is why The Rock's drinking all that damn tequila. This is why The Rock's throwing back tequila like crazy. Because they don't have another organization backing them. WNBA can take losses all day. Because the NBA foots the bill and does not care if they make money. They want to project equality. They're so woke, they want to project equality. And they'll pay whatever it costs to project equality. They know damn well they've been losing money for 20 years. They don't care. Because they make so much money. That's why they have an 82-game season. Right? They make a ton of money. Baseball doesn't give a rat's ass how Minor League Baseball does. Because they make so much money from their games. They make so much money from their season, they do not care. They don't even they get more collective ratings than any sport. That's why baseball teams can pay absurd amounts to their players. They make way more money. They have so many more games. It's just nuts. So the XFL does not have a safety net. They're going to fail. Now, they're prepared to take losses. But they said they're going to make $100 million next year. And I say to them, how? They're getting $20 million off the TV contract with ESPN. ESPN's paying them $20 million to televise their games. $20 million. ESPN's making their money back. But the XFL is only getting $20 million. Where are you going to get that other $80 million? Not from the gate. Not when Vegas is averaging 5,000 people at a game. Seattle's averaging 35,000. That's incredible. 35,000 to a game is insane for the XFL. But you got to find cities hungry for these teams. You got to find cities that want to watch these teams play. And Vegas ain't one of them. That's a mistake. Vegas is not one that wants to see them play. Nope. How about San Diego? How about Houston and Portland? And you got to figure. Now, here's the thing. They want to expand, but in 2025 they want to expand. They don't want to expand next year. It's 2025 they want to expand. But they got to reduce coaches' salaries, and they got to, if they're going to expand, they got to be careful, or they're going to end up like Sears and closing everything down. So it is what it is. Sorry for that rant, but yeah, it's true. Thoughts on Devin Witherspoon? My number one corner in the draft. I thought he's a good player in college. I think he's going to be a good pro. That's my thoughts on Devin Witherspoon. I don't think he was good enough to be the fifth pick overall, but I still think he was the best corner option at any point. Georgia high school players that go to big 7A schools like Grayson and Buford will get offered to schools like Memphis while being the third-string quarterback. LOL. A lot of this has to do with relationships. Clemson has a really good relationship with Grayson because their coach used to be there, right? He used to be the coach at Grayson. Now he coaches at Clemson. Forgetting one of their players just transferred, and it was his uncle. But Buford is recruiting the hell out of their players. Buford's running backs, third string, can play anywhere. Like, they can really play anywhere. I was looking at Blessed Trinity's 3 running backs. 2 of them went to Georgia Tech, and Justice Haynes went to Alabama. So, yeah, there are guys getting offers, and you just go, why? Look at J.C. French. He just got offered. You're like, whoa, where'd he going? He's going to Memphis. Oh, he couldn't play there? Transferred to Georgia Southern. Now he can play. It's tough, man. You're looking for quality players, so you go to quality programs. Happens everywhere. But the kids that are getting recruited out of St. John Bosco, third stringers, they're bust too. They're everywhere. I see a kid in the transfer portal, never played. I go look at his high school at St. John Bosco. I go, okay, yeah, of course. Complete bust. Happening everywhere. There's busts everywhere, then they're hitting. So you keep shooting. Keep shooting until you hit, right? Respect to TCU, but respectfully, they never had Texas to take back. Shout out to Steve. Take back Texas. They just want to keep the players in state. That's all they're saying. They don't want to lose any more players in state. Do you think J. Michael Sturdivant and Kyle Ford will be upgraded over Jake Bobo and Kaz Allen for UCLA? So, yeah, Ruben Rust, I feel like Jake Bobo, obviously being a tight end transfer, I felt he was a Silver Spoon kid, and he wasn't quite built for what we're looking for at the receiver position. Tight end, receiving tight end, whatever you want to call it. Kaz Allen, explosive. But for me, J. Michael Sturdivant is the truth. If you guys don't know who J. Michael Sturdivant is, he was the leading receiver at Cal. And Cal had a losing season last year. But between Jack Plummer and Michael J. Sturdivant, they actually put up really good numbers. And if you go watch those games, they look like they don't belong on that team. And they obviously both left. They're not there anymore. I like J. Michael Sturdivant. I almost said Michael J. Fox. I like J. Michael Sturdivant a lot. Now, Kyle Ford, all hype. Kyle Ford is all hype. This is a 5-star guy, former 5-star wide receiver, leaving SC. SC just kept bringing in better wide receivers, right? Shout out to Gary Bryant Jr., shout out to C.J. Williams, and obviously Kyle Ford. Everybody had to leave. There's too many good wide receivers showing up. But my problem is Kyle Ford, you're not better than Brendan Rice? Like, explain that to me. How are you not better than Rice after everybody talked about it? So I'm hoping a Chip Kelly offense gets you there. I'm hoping he can scheme you open and get you some yards. So we'll see what happens. But, yeah, I think it's an upgrade talent-wise, but we'll see what comes of it, right? We'll see. Does Branson Robinson emerge as the premier back this year? So I don't think so. Branson Robinson, everybody talks about him because he looks so great, and they hype up these recruits. Remember, they were making Branson Robinson videos 2 years ago, and everybody would be writing to me going, hey, Rico, what do you think about so-and-so? What do you think about so-and-so? I get this every single day. And it's like, dude, I don't think about that guy. Like, my answer, every time somebody says, hey, what do you think about this guy? I always go, I don't. What do you think about so-and-so? I don't. I say it all the time. I don't, because they're not going to see the field. And finally, Branson Robinson is finally going to see the field. Is he going to emerge as the premier back this year? Okay, premier back, meaning the primary back for that university, for Georgia. Branson Robinson, go look him up, guys. Dude's yoked. He looks the part. Here's my problem. You weren't the starter last year, and the guy in front of you, the two guys in front of you, are not NFL running backs. Like McIntosh, Kenny McIntosh. This guy got drafted in the 7th round. It was 7th round. It's a sympathy draft pick. He's not an NFL running back. And that guy's better than you. So how good are you if the guy in front of you is a 7th rounder? How good are you? This is why all the running backs at Georgia aren't professionals. They're just not. And there's another guy who was in the recruiting class this year, Roderick Robinson, from Lincoln, San Diego. He won state in California. Lincoln, San Diego, Roderick Robinson, I think, is a better Robinson. I think he's a better player. Now, he won't get a shot. He'll be down in the depth chart. He's going to redshirt, going to take a while before he gets it. But I bet he turns into a better pro than Branson Robinson. I don't know. I'm not willing to bet the house on it, but it's open for discussion. And as long as there's discussions about other running backs on the team being better than you, you're not the premier back. You're not the premier running back. Branson Robinson better be able to catch passes out of the backfield because they're going to be check down kings. You just lost a 2-year starter in Stetson Bennett. Beck is not better than Stetson Bennett. Let me make this clear. Beck is not a 4th-round draft pick. Beck is not a 2-time national champ. There's going to be a huge downgrade at the quarterback position, whether you want to believe it or not. And I call the kid a middle schooler all the time. But it's the reality of the situation. There will be a downgrade in production at the quarterback position at Georgia. Now, I say that to tell you that Brock Bowers will be even better, right? Brock Bowers will be better. But is Oscar Delp as good as Darnell Washington? I don't think so, right? So what are we talking about Branson Robinson for? He's never played. It's all hype. You only know his name from recruiting services and hype. Nothing he's done on the field warrants you knowing his name. It's the same reason I don't like to talk about Luther Burden at Missouri. It's like you only know his name because you saw his name on some chart and they threw a bunch of stars next to his name, but he didn't do anything to warrant you calling him out and saying, is he going to be the premier back this year? He didn't do nothing. What are we talking about? What stats? What production? Did he play well in the spring and everybody's talking? I just need to know. What did he do? And I'm not mad at you. I'm just stating the obvious for the room, which is we hype these guys up and we concern ourselves with their productivity only because a recruiting website told you their name. That's it. What's your opinion on McKinstry at Alabama? Kool-Aid McKinstry. That's not his real name, but that's what he goes by now. Kool-Aid, his grandmother gave him the nickname. Kool-Aid's a little small, a little thin, I should say. Good player. Good punt returner. I think he's a quality football player. I think he's one of the best in the country. So shout out to Kool-Aid McKinstry, Alabama. Thank you. Shout out to John White. Thank you. Let me see if I got another. Oh, I want to talk transfer portal right now. I'll get back to the chat. What do you think about the Pittsburgh Steelers draft? I think it's the best in the NFL. I talked about this, and I talked about all the players. I'll pull it up so we can go over it again, but I've already talked about it on a previous video. If you go to TikTok, I have a playlist at the very top. When you guys go to my TikTok page, my profile, you go to the top of my TikTok, before the videos, there's these small rectangles at the top. Those are all different playlists. You can just scroll through the playlist. I have like 20 of them. Pick one, and then watch all the videos in them. Well, one of those playlists is called NFL Draft Review, and you can watch me review every single NFL team and every single draft pick. That means I've said something positive or negative about 259 players. All right, I have assessed 259 players, and I talk about each one individually. So if you want to know about any draft pick, any player, there you go. I also have a 20-minute undrafted free agent video that I made right after the draft, and that's posted on YouTube. And I talk for 20 minutes on that one. That's not on TikTok. And that's me talking about, hey, just so you guys know, Heat leading the Nuggets 51-44 at halftime. Miami Heat is leading the Nuggets 51-44. We don't care. We got higher ratings than the NBA Finals right now in this live stream. We got more people watching me than anybody watching those Jimmy Bucket dudes or anybody else. I don't care about the Heat or the Nuggets. Chicken nugget this. That's all I'm saying. I might go to Mickey D's and get 20 chicken nuggets right now just so I can eat them. It's the only thing I care about. It is what it is. So there we go. What do you think about the Steelers draft, though? I think it's the best draft in the NFL. Just pound for pound, where they took players, who they took, the caliber of each player. I think they have long NFL careers ahead of them. It's pretty good. Pretty good. But Marty Mappau went in the third round, and that's an NFL Hall of Famer. Shout out to the Patriots. So I like their draft as well. Travis Hunter is 165 pounds. Yeah. Give him 2 more years. He's got 2 more years, right? He's got 2 more years? Yeah, he'll be 180 by the draft. What are we talking about? You must be a troll. Who's Pepsi? I don't know. Travis Hunter's 180. There we go. What'd I just say? I went, and then I said 180. I don't even read ahead, guys. I'm reading one comment. I didn't know what's coming next. True story. Shout out to you. Grats on 3K, bro. Morant's Rants. That's my twin brother. He's got his own channel. He's got a bunch of followers. He talks the stock market. Morant's Rants. He rants about the stock market. But he says congrats on 3K. Hey, I got 3,000 subscribers. Shout out to you guys. 3,000 on YouTube. Over 60,000 on TikTok. I'll tell you guys what. That 3,000, I didn't work at it. I didn't do nothing. And it's still small peanuts. So let's keep it moving. Let's do what we do. But thank you very much for the shout out, bro. I appreciate you. Where do you think Ezekiel Elliott lands? I think he lands on his feet, Preston. I think he lands on his feet in his living room. So he's either going to the Cowboys or nowhere at this point. I don't really care where he goes. He's 3 yards in a cloud of dust. That man will never rush for more than 500 yards in his life. I think he's a liability. I'd rather have undrafted free agents like Keaton Mitchell. I'd rather have any draft pick for the next 3 years, not Ezekiel Elliott. Don't think he's worth the money. Don't think he's worth the time. Not a fan. Not somebody that should have a job right now. Not in the NFL. I think his career is over. No matter what he does. What is one of the biggest controversial takes for this upcoming college football season? Jack Z. So I have a couple of them, but if you're saying the most controversial take for me is anybody who says Colorado's not winning more than 2 games. And I've seen it all over message boards. I've seen it all over comments. I've seen it all over Twitter. Anybody who says Colorado is not winning more than 2 games doesn't understand football and the roster turnover that's occurred. They just don't get it. So that's number one. The next one for me, controversial take. Jimbo Fisher is not on the hot seat. Jimbo Fisher is not on the hot seat. That's pretty controversial. Jimbo Fisher's not on the hot seat, and neither is Neil Brown at West Virginia. There you go. Some sites do not list him at 165. Yeah, I don't trust websites, bruh. Websites don't know what they're talking about. Don't worry about it. Tom Rose says, we've been to the Big 12 and Big 8 before. Yes, you have. Auditor, not an investigator. They have to cut SG&A overhead of $60 million is nothing. Yeah, exactly. That's all it is. He's talking about how much they lost. Seasonal employees. Yep. You don't expand during these macroeconomic times. Sit on your cash and wait for your chance. Keep working XFL. Yeah, there's times, some people expand, some don't. You can talk about the economic state of the country, but what it really comes down to is who's watching the games. You can expand if people are watching the games. Just turn on the TV and watch the games. The rest will take care of itself. That's the reality. If you have the ratings, you can expand. If you don't have the ratings, stay home. Rico, do you know Braxton Westfield? I do not know Braxton Westfield. Forensic audit, to say the least. Shout out to you. Yep. Will Bray Hubbard, quarterback Ocean Springs, Mississippi, ever see the field at DB for Bama, or does he transfer to a lower school to play quarterback? So, a lot of players go to college and get their position changed. A ton of players. And nobody says shit. Nobody even talks about it because it's accepted in the college ranks. Now, if it happens in the NFL, everybody cries racism. Everybody's, oh my God, they moved that quarterback to wide receiver. They moved that guy to this. But in college, they give every university the benefit of the doubt that you knew where you were getting recruited. You know you're not that caliber of player. So you knew you were going to this position. If you go to Bama and you're not a 5-star quarterback and they move you to another position like defensive back, you knew that well in advance. You knew you weren't the guy. It happens everywhere. Now, you can transfer wherever you want to go play a lower school and play quarterback. But I got news for you. There are quarterbacks at the FBS level transferring to be a starter at another school. Let me explain. Back in the day, if you were a second-string quarterback, you stayed second string, and you backed up the starter, and you waited for your chance to see the field. That's not happening anymore. Now, when you go to the spring and you don't win the quarterback battle, the second-string quarterback hits the transfer portal. This just happened with Lamson at Syracuse. He wins the second string job. He says, okay, great. I'm a second string quarterback here. I'm out. And he transfers to Stanford. Everybody's doing it. So every single school is left with their starter and their third string backup to be the backup. That's what happens after the spring. You have your starter and your third string. Your second string left somewhere to go be a starter somewhere else. So all of a sudden, all the starting quarterback positions across the country are much better than they used to be. Much better. Think of Luke Altmaier at Ole Miss. He'd be buried on the depth chart 5 years ago. And instead, he's the starting quarterback at Illinois. Right? This is what's happening all over. Mikey Keene just went to Fresno State. He would have been the backup at UCF. You go to Fresno State and become the starter. There's an opening there, you go. This is happening everywhere in the country. So when you see a young man who's not getting playing time, but he was a high school quarterback, you're going to have a real hard time transferring to be a starting quarterback. Where you want to go? Where you want to go? Name the school. I guarantee you guys name the school, and I'll let you know Bray Hubbard can't play quarterback there. I'm letting you know now because they're getting the transfers they need. Everybody's getting a transfer quarterback. Everybody. The vast majority of starting quarterbacks in every single Power 5 conference is from a transfer. That's every single school, every single conference, not just the SEC. Like the SEC starting quarterbacks are all transfers, right? Like the vast majority of them. I list them all the time. Like Jaden Daniels, Graham Mertz, Spencer Rattler, Joe Milton, and let me know if I'm missing one, right? Jackson Dart. That's already 5. Jake Garcia, that's 6. Whoever starting at Vandy, it's a transfer. Auburn, transfer. It's 8, bro. The majority in every single conference is going to be transfers. You go to the Pac-12, transfers. USC, Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., Shedeur Sanders, all transfers. The kid at Arizona State, UCLA, that's 6. Cal got a new transfer in Sam Jackson. Stanford's got a new transfer in Lamson. That's 8. DJ Ungalele, that's 9. Washington State, Cam Ward, that's 10. 10 transfers starting in the Pac-12. Every single conference has transfers. Facts because of your good looks, Rico. I don't even know what's going on over here. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. You cannot transfer to a school to be a starting quarterback if you're a DB and you were a high school quarterback. No, you're running into other quarterbacks transferring. It's just harder. Shout out to you for the question, though. Don't spam, Jack. Exactly. Just one question. I will get to you. Just sit tight. And for good measure, I don't know Braxton. My name is Morantz knows what Rico doesn't. So chances are he knows the kid. I do. I just like to if I say I don't know him, it's because he asked if I know him. Like, do I know him personally? No. Did I break bread with him? Did we have lunch together? I don't know him. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know who he is. Hey, Rico, my name is Ricardo Williams. I see that in your name there. I didn't get to play my senior year of high school due to COVID, so I ended up going the Juco route at Mississippi Gulf Coast. I did 2 years there. Grinded, earned multiple offers. Now I'm at Georgia State. Shout out to you. Graduated high school in 2021 and Juco 23. I transferred here this spring, so this is my first year here. Yes, I like it, brother. I like it. I'm in Georgia. I'm a big fan of Georgia Southern and Georgia State. Congratulations. That's a hell of a journey. Shout out to Ricardo Williams. Do your thing. Don't ever quit. WNBA sucks. No, they don't. They eat, bruh. They eat. WNBA eats. They don't suck. Don't be saying that. Them ladies don't suck nothing. They eat though. Keep grinding, Ricardo. Shout out to you. Gulf Coast has a nice program. Yes, they do. Yes, it's $80 million plus the 6 they lost. That is a Herculean task. Exactly. No, there's no expanding during these increased commercial leasing rates. Sure. So, if you're Seattle, what are you doing with the 5th pick instead of drafting Witherspoon? Preston, I'm trading back. I'm letting the Lions make the mistake and draft him. Right? Everybody talks about it. The Lions were going to draft Witherspoon at 6, so Seahawks took him at 5. Let them draft him at 6. If you want to be successful in the NFL, let other teams make the mistake. Let somebody else do the reach. They talked about it. They're like, well, the Lions had to take Jahmyr Gibbs because the Jets or the Patriots were going to. No, they weren't. The Patriots were not taking him, number one. But Jahmyr Gibbs Let somebody else draft him at 14. Let somebody else take him. You don't be the one to make the mistake. That's how you win in the NFL. Don't be the one to make the mistake during the draft. Let somebody else make the mistake. Let somebody else reach. I'm not taking him. I'm trading back. Somebody else can do it. Sears had a good run. Shout out to them. Dink Johnson was the number 1 athlete in 2020. Went from Ole Miss to Marshall and back in the portal. What's the deal? The deal is rankings are wrong. That's the deal. The rankings don't know what they're doing. That's the deal. Trust no rankings. Don't give a shit. Trust no rankings. Don't give a shit. That's where I live on this. There's plenty of players. Turn on the tape. Have you watched film on St. John Bosco's running back, good big back? Yeah, I've watched every game St. John Bosco's played probably in the last 5 years. I've watched every game. I watch a lot of high school film. It's kind of hard to evaluate you when you're surrounded by 5-star players and you're the best team on the field every single week. It's hard to know how good you really are because you're just surrounded by the best players. It's why I don't like Aaron Nolan playing for Hughes. It's why I'm not a big fan of a lot of Ohio State players. It's just hard to evaluate whether or not you're good. You have the better team every single week, 99% of the time. What are we doing? Your team's better. I can't tell how good you are. Your team's better. It's tough. Sturdivant is a track guy. Dad was a DB. Are you calling him a dirtbag? I'm sorry, guys. The chat just jumped on me. We're there. Dad was a DB on team with Vic. Okay. Friend of mine. His grandfather is Floyd Little, by the way. Okay, there we go. There we go. Hey, Steve, how are you friends with everybody, bruh? Steve, how are you friends with me? You know all these famous dudes. You know all these athletes. And now when you talk to them, you just say, hey, I know Rico Knows, friend of mine. That's what you should tell them. Rico Knows, he's a friend of mine. Now you know somebody real. Western Michigan student fan here. How will they recover? I didn't have to read the rest of it. They didn't just lose Fisk, Tyler, and Crooms. They also, and Carter, is Lance Taylor a good hire? So, number one, shout out to Lance Taylor. But if you guys don't know what happened, it's a little worse than that. They lost one of their leading tacklers as well. I'm forgetting his name, the linebacker. But Western Michigan got bullied, bro, in the transfer portal. Minnesota took their starting running back, who's going to be a 1,000-yard rusher. He was a back-to-back 1,000-yard rusher at Western Michigan. He transferred to Minnesota, okay? So, there's Tyler there. So, Tyler, boom, gone. Then they lose Crooms, their leading receiver, to Minnesota as well. And then they lose their leading tackler, linebacker, I'm forgetting his name right now, to Minnesota as well. Like, Minnesota just bullied them and took all their best players. Florida State took Fisk. It's a bananas. Now, Western Michigan, they got to recruit, they got to develop, and is Lance Taylor a good hire? Hey, you got to get who you can get in those directional Michigan schools, but boy, did they get punked. Happens all the time, though, guys. Power 5 teams have been punking Group of 5 teams for their coaches for years. They've been taking every good positions coach and every good head coach from a Group of 5 team for years. It's only a matter of time now that they get to take the players, right? All those coaches have been moving up. They've been using these jobs as stepping stones. Now the players use these schools as stepping stones to get to the Power 5. You don't like it now, right? You don't like that equality. Now you guys don't like it. Now, we need to fix the portal. Oh, my God, all the players are leaving Group of 5 schools. Oh, my God, all the players are leaving Group of 5 schools. How about these coaches using these jobs as stepping stones to get to a bigger job? Why can't the players do it? So shout out to every kid who left Western Michigan and went and chased their dreams. Shout out to them. You don't want to stay at Western Michigan, guys. They have a bad rep of being bust in the NFL. They really do. Who's the kid that I liked? Who's that receiver? Sky Moore? Man, I really wanted Sky Moore to do well. Who's that other receiver who didn't do much? It wasn't Coleman, was it? Who was the receiver in the first round? Was he with the Browns? Somebody knows who I'm talking about. Somebody knows. Expectations for Devin Leary this year. I think he's going to play well. He's going. By the way, Devin Leary transferred North Carolina State, going to Kentucky to be the quarterback. Kentucky has a ton of weapons at receiver. They just got back their offensive coordinator after 1 year. He was with the Rams. He was bad. And he's coming back, Cone. Hopefully he does well. But Devin Leary's a good quarterback. I think he'll play well. Yeah. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC. Shout out to another transfer starting quarterback in the SEC. Like I said, USA Wrestling just had World Team Finals. It's going to be one of our best teams. Bosco Kid made the team. Oh, snap. Eric Gonzalez. I'll take it, bro. That's awesome. Rico, you catch any of Prime's interview with Joe Klatt show? I try not to support other shows. I'm busy doing my own thing and working on my content, but I am aware of the interview. I do know what he said, what was said. So, yeah, I caught some of it indirectly. People write to me immediately, send me clips of it. I get bombarded anytime something happens with Colorado. My inbox just, boom, explodes, and everybody lets me know whether a kid signed, somebody sneezed, somebody took a shit. Like, it's just all over the place. So when Coach Prime goes on there and just says, hey, I had to do this, I had to do that, I found music playing in a position meeting, whatever he said, don't care. They're just talking past tense. And Joe Klatt, if you guys didn't know, Joe Klatt was once the quarterback at Colorado. Joe Klatt is an insider for that regard. He does care about the university. So doing an interview with Coach Prime, trying to seem impartial and being kind of I thought the questions were kind of like fishing for answers, just setting it up. Softball questions to make them look better and look good. Coach Prime said it. Hey, we expect to win, and we want to win now. I don't just want a taste. I want the whole pie. That's cool and all. I'm a big supporter of the program. I don't support Joe Klatt's program or his show. More power to him. But, yeah, he did an interview. Cool. I played at Bosco my sophomore year, then transferred to Los Al. Makai Lemon. Yep, maybe the best player I've played with. Okay, yeah. Excited. See what happens. See what he does. Watched it all last night. Solid. Yep. Undrafted free agent was good. Most boring finals. Never going to watch them. I couldn't tell you. I remember playing Los Al when they were horrible. I played at Cypress. Okay. What do you do with the high school tape you get? Is it critiques on the play or the film itself? So, Ruben Rust, couple things. Number one, it depends who sends me the tape. Sometimes parents send me the tape. Parents will send me the tape and say, hey, is my kid good enough? Does my son look good enough on the tape? And I'll give them tips on how to make the tape better. Meaning, get rid of this play. Don't show me such an emphasis of this or that. Like, I give them tips on how to make the tape better. That's important. But I also am very real with them. Hey, your son is an FCS level player. Your son does not appear to be this, that, or the other. Hey, I don't think your son's a running back at the next level. He's probably a DB. Things like that. So I get a ton of the tape. Now, I do a film review on TikTok. I have a playlist called High School Film Review. Once again, go to the homepage at the very top. There's all those playlists. One of the playlists is High School Film Review. Click on it, and you'll see all the reviews I've done of high school film. Now, I probably need to add more to it if I go back, because I might have had some guys listed under hidden gems, and I need to move them to the High School Film Review. But moving forward, all my High School Film Review goes in there. I do have coaches that follow me at the FCS level and FBS level. Coaches follow my TikTok. I tend to make the video and share it with them just for SA and just so they know. And when I say SA, situational awareness. I apologize. It's a military term. So just for situational awareness, so they're aware of the player, what's going on. Sometimes the players will send it out and ask for more publicity. Hey, can you do a video and get me some views? Can you do this? I just need more exposure. I've had kids with no offers. A lot of kids, I shouldn't say a lot. I'd say about 10% are kids who are already committed to schools and just want me to assess them. Hey, man, you mind looking at my tape and let me know where I'm going? Like, as a matter of fact, there's going to be a tape I make here, a video I make in the next 2 or 3 days. It's a kid at Missouri. He's a backup safety at Missouri, and he's like, hey, man, I'm about to be a starter in the 2 deep at Missouri next year, and I just want to know what you think of my tape, if you don't mind doing a video. Or he wrote, hey, man, and if you don't make a video, can you just write me back some critiques? Just write it to me. And I'm starting to do these reviews providing feedback. I don't like to say constructive criticism because it's not criticism. It's feedback. Constructive feedback, but it's feedback. And I'm going to provide feedback, and I'm not asking for any type of, revenue, or you don't need to compensate me in any way. Now, maybe next year I'll do film review for $20, right? Maybe next year I'll ask the kids, hey, if you're going to ask me to review your tape, I'll make a video, but I'd like $20 for my time, because it takes me about 30 minutes. So if I'm making $40 an hour doing 2 videos an hour, I'll do that just to be courteous and nice. I'm not in it for the money right now. I really am not. I'm not really stressing it on that level. I'm not sitting here saying, hey, guys, hit my Cash App. And I'm just doing it out of the goodness of my heart for the first season. But coming next season, I might charge for a couple of things. We'll see how it goes. But that's what I do with the tape. I get a ton of links. I get so many huddle links. It's insane. But, to each his own. It is what it is. 3,000. Thank you, Lewis. You guys are all part of it. Bro, I thought Morant's Rants had you as a profile pic. No, that's my identical twin brother. The irony is NBA ratings are up, destroying the big market narrative. However, Rico pulling a point higher. There you go. Do you think Arkansas will upset LSU in September? Arkansas picked up some dogs. Stewart from TCU. Braithwaite is not good. Let's make this very clear. Braithwaite is not a dog. On defense, and Arkansas nearly beat them last year. They got a guy in Jaheim Thomas. I think he's an NFL football player. He's a linebacker. He was a 4-star, stayed home at Cincy. He's been at Cincy for a couple years. He finally got to start last year. Jaheim Thomas, 6'4", 255, 245. I really like him on tape. And he transferred to Arkansas. So Arkansas did great in the transfer portal. So did LSU. LSU did better in the transfer portal. I don't know why it's an upset or what's going on, but one of these teams has to lose. One of them has to win, and that's that. Can they beat them? Yeah, they're playing them, so they got a chance to beat them. He skipped my Sue Bird comments. This dude is woke. It probably didn't show up. I didn't see any Sue Bird comments. It probably got filtered out. Did not see your Sue Bird comments, buddy. My apologies if you already mentioned it. Just jumped on. Thoughts on LeBlanc hitting the portal and prospective schools for him. So I haven't mentioned it, and I don't talk about players who hit the portal. I talk about them after they sign to a team. I want to make this very clear. I talk about players after they sign. Sorry. So we'll wait till we see where he signs. LeBlanc, League of Legends. Shout out to you for knowing that. Colorado should win 5. Okay. Thanks for another fantastic live, Goat. Thank you, Blake Anders. Thanks for being here. Gotta go. Time for my live stream. See you, bro. See you. How do you feel about Juice Wells, JMU, South Carolina? Yeah, he's fine. He's fine. I don't think South Carolina feels very good about him. That's what they brought in Mario Anderson Jr. from Division II All-American from Newberry. But Juice Wells is fine. He's cool. Am I thinking – what was I thinking? I was thinking Juju McDowell. My bad. Juice Wells. Yeah. Oh, man. I owe you an answer. I apologize. I owe you an answer. Go Ricardo Williams. Rico Knows. Folks cheering for you. Go get it, young man. There you go. Rico, what's your opinion on the CU wide receiver running back rooms? Very good talent. A lot of potential. Let's go see them make some plays. Let's go see them be productive. That's how I feel about them. I don't think they're exceptional. I think they're good. But there are very good running back rooms and wide receiver rooms in the Pac-12. They really are. But, hey, go do some things. Let's go make it happen. Luke Altmaier is buns. Guys, he's buns, bro. USC has a true 1, 2, 3, 4 quarterback rack. Okay. Ty Keys update. Supposed to be East Mississippi. Haven't heard much about him since he left Southern Miss. So, he's going to Juco. This is Mr. If you guys don't know Ty Keys, he is going to Juco, the Juco route. This is a guy who was Mr. Gatorade or whatever, Mr. Football in Mississippi. He's amazing. Had an amazing high school career, but couldn't get on the field at Southern Miss. So, it might just be a competition thing. Like, he was only good in high school because he was playing against nobody. But he has not performed well at the collegiate level, and that's where we leave it. We'll see how he does at the Juco. I'll be watching. I only watch Juco for national championships. I don't have time to watch all their games. I'll read their stats at the end of the year, so I'm kind of box score scouting them, but I don't really watch the games except for the national championship. I watched 3 national championships for Juco, and then I read the box scores and just see if they got any production or good enough production. And then I wait for a player to sign with a team, and then I go and look at the tape on individual players. But I don't go watch all the games for Juco. I just don't. Is Haynes King going to start at Georgia Tech? I hope so. I like the kid. Haynes King was named the starter at Texas A&M 2 years in a row. Remember that. He was at Texas A&M with stacked quarterback rooms, and they all tried out and competed against each other. And in the preseason, the guy who beat everybody out is Haynes King, right? He's the alpha male of the room. Haynes King was the starting quarterback 2021 and 2022. Now, he didn't keep the job. He ends up losing it. But if there's a guy out there, shout out to Will Levis, if there's a guy out there who could really compete and win a job, Sean Clifford, Haynes King. Now, can he hold it? I don't know. But, man, does he prepare well, and doesn't he look good in practice? So I like him. Who do you think starts at quarterback for UCLA? Colin Schlee. Good for Georgia Southern. Shout out to them. What are your thoughts on Mekhi Welch signing for Boulder, Dylan Edwards and Mekhi for the future back? But yeah, I don't care about He didn't sign anywhere. Mekhi Welch didn't sign anywhere. It's a verbal commit. I don't worry about that. Rico, shout out to you about the Emmanuel Forbes take, by the way. Word out of Commanders camp is that he's already emerged as quarterback 1. Yeah, he was my number 2 corner in the draft. I have my top 10 rankings. He was my number 2. You surprised for now hasn't found a new home? No, not at all. Not at all. It happens everywhere. Players get left in the portal every year. Do you think Arkansas will perform better in the secondary this year? Of course, Preston. They were terrible in the secondary last year. They'll be better. There's no other way to be but better. Haha, I worked with Michael Senior for about 10 years. Steve, I'm done talking to you. Who has the biggest feeder school or schools? Don't know what you mean, Slap? You're going to have to be a lot more specific because there are feeder. UTEP is the feeder school for everybody at wide receiver. Like, what are we talking about? Yes, I loved his quotes. It's not just the sip. Yeah. I don't worry about the quotes. People make the quotes, and that's clickbait. I don't worry about it. Prime got me pumped. Hope them boys do their thing. I really do. I really hope they do well, but I don't really care what the quote is. Thoughts on Landon Jackson, defensive end at Arkansas? No thoughts. None whatsoever. He's in a rotation. They rotate DNs. It is what it is. Has Baby Gronk's pop sent you tape to evaluate? I'm going to make a confession right now. I thought Baby Gronk was fake. I thought Baby Gronk was just clickbait nonsense that they just made. Like, I didn't think that Baby Gronk was anything special. I had no clue who Baby Gronk was. I mean, I've seen videos of him, but I didn't think he was anybody. I mean that. Like, I just thought, okay, he's just a guy. Like, I don't know what to say. Baby Gronk. That's Baby Gronk for you. That's what I thought. And then they tell me he's a real kid with a real dad and all this other stuff. And I'm like, who the hell is this is a youth. I don't talk sports. I don't talk recruiting. So why am I going to talk about a child? That dude ain't hit puberty, bro. I didn't know it was a real person at all. I thought it was a meme thing. I thought it was just a joke. I can't even get down with it. I won't even look at that shit. Have you applied for a team or considering opening a company for what you do? Slap Happy, I have not. I've considered I'm doing this full time for a living for sure, but I haven't applied anywhere. I don't think you're gonna get a job applying. You got to know somebody, right? It's nepotism. You got to know somebody. By the way, you all, Rico Knows Collective, so support this man if able. Thank you very much. If you can tip. Do what you do. Did you talk NCAA track and field yet? I answered questions, Brian Smith. I did talk it. It is what it is. Didn't Arkansas get 2 kids from North Texas too? Yes, Arkansas got Varkey's Gums, one of the best tight ends in the portal, without a doubt. Much better than C.J. Dippre. So Varkey's Gums going to Arkansas. And no, they didn't get 2 guys, though. They only got 1. The other kid, Cameron, went to SMU. If they got another one, I'm forgetting who it is right now off the top of my head. If they correct me. I'm training linebacker Asai Telefai from Santa Margarita, Trinity League. Got some PT on varsity as a freshman. He's a dog who works really hard. Is it Asia? My bad. Asia Telefai. Gonna send film after being a starter this year for sure. There you go, Ruben Russ. Shout out to you. 75 days to first college game of this year. Y'all ready? I'm ready. Great show. Damn good show content. I'll definitely subscribe to your show. Thank you very much, John White. I appreciate you. Where do you rank Harold Perkins as far as linebackers are concerned? Harold Perkins is the number 2 returning player in the SEC, regardless of position, as far as I'm concerned. Number 2. Yeah, I think he's in the top 3 for sure. So I got, what's his name? Brock Bowers, Harold Perkins, Judkins, that type of deal. I think Perkins is amazing. I think he's a good player. Juice Wells, Antoine Wells, the wide receiver from South Carolina. My bad. Hey, bro. It is what I know so many players. You can't do that to me. And I apologize, John. You can't do that to me. I know so many players that if you guys start using terms, it is what it is. So, Juice Wells. Antoine Wells. Transfer from JMU. Transfer from James Madison University, right? And just a stud of a player. Stud of a player. That's all I can say. I hope Rattler knows how to find him. I do. I hope Rattler knows how to find him. But that guy should be all SEC. And to see somebody come up from – when I say JMU, everybody thinks, oh, he went from Group of 5 to the SEC. No. JMU, when he transferred, was an FCS school. So that's what people don't understand. This is an FCS guy transferring in. So an All-American FCS guy. Just remember that. And Miami's beating Denver 71-70 going into the fourth quarter. Don't give a shit personally. But yeah, I like Juice. He's good. What's up, Rico? What up, Big Bino? Big Bino. Tell me about his brother again. Are you going to any CU games this year? So I was going to take a job, Preston. I'm still not sure if I'm taking the job because I want to do this instead of a real job. But I was going to take a very high-paying job and move to Colorado. I thought about it. I've thought about it for about 2 weeks now. And if I do that, then yeah, I'll probably go to a game. But as of right now, not happening. Don't worry about how expensive they are. I just paid $600 to take my family to Cirque du Soleil. I don't give a shit about a game. I played football with Gums. He's like that. There you go. Thanks, everyone. Make sure you subscribe, get notified, hit the like button. Thank you very much. If you subscribe, you'll know. He's my Bolitnikov. Okay. You're talking crazy. There's a lot of other guys with a lot more production. A lot. Give me Jamari Thrash at Louisville. Rico, you watch a lot of football. I wonder if you could rank college football coaches that are some are pretty bad coaches. Yeah, I can do it. Other people do it. I can do it, though, yeah. See you, Steve. Ranking college football coaches would be pretty cool. Thoughts on Dylan Johnson at Mississippi State? I believe he transferred. Right? He's a good player. Power back. Does his thing. Thoughts on Audric Estime? Feel like he's going to have a breakout year. Last year was the breakout year. Notre Dame running back. Now this year, you lose your second-string running back. You don't have to share time with Diggs. He's gonna get the brunt of the carries. We'll see what he does. Give me your Colorado wins for 2023. Yeah, RJ Moore, I've done this 100 times. I don't feel like doing it again. I do it all the time. I apologize. Got work in the morning. Okay, guys. Well, we're gonna wrap it up since people got work in the morning. Is Jordan Anthony gonna crack the? Yeah, he's gonna crack the wide receiver rotation. They need a slot receiver. That's what all this is about. Tyron Smith transferred in from UTEP. Then he left. They needed a slot receiver. They got one. So it is what it is. Good night, Rico, my dog. All right, guys. So before we wrap it up, here's what I wanted to go over your transfer portal. I just wanted to talk about something real quick. And it was Sean Bowman, the tight end. Sean Bowman, everybody talked to me about him. They said, oh, he might go to Colorado, the kid from Maine. Well, he committed to Rutgers. So he went from Maine to Rutgers. He's not coming to Colorado. So shout out to him. He changed his mind. He's going there. Isaiah Rutherford, he announced, or they got him 100% going to UMass like all the other Arizona defensive players transferring to UMass. Since they lost Josh, right? They went and lost, what's his name to Michigan? Josh Wallace, starting corner. So then now they have an opening at corner at UMass. They lose Josh Wallace. So now all of a sudden Isaiah Rutherford jumps in the portal and he can transfer to UMass and go be a corner there. So it's just a one-for-one swap. And it's a downgrade, but it is what it is. So those are the only changes in the transfer portal there. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us, guys. I wasn't going to talk about none of this. I already talked about all these guys. But shout out to everybody for being here every night. You know, we rock with you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Everybody have a good night. Go to bed. Do your thing. And just remember, not everybody knows, but Rico knows.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success off another breath. This the first step in search